Let's do this. Get ready for the Dirt Life Show.
Woo! What is up, everyone? Happy Monday. We're stoked to have these boys in the studio. Tonight we have episode 37 of the Dirt Life Show with the men of the new short course iRacing challenges and games, as well as some very good Lucas short course racers themselves. They brought their whole families. We had tacos earlier. I'd like to welcome Ethan Ebert and Luke Knupp. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing great. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's pretty fun to be able to get out of the house right now, right?
Oh yeah, during this quarantine, it's been kind of hard to keep active and just doing stuff. And
I don't know. You guys been active with the iRacing stuff?
Yeah, it's been awesome. We've been on it a lot.
Wait, did you start to put that mic a little closer to you, bud? Did you guys start doing the iRacing stuff like way before it actually like started getting popular now?
Yeah, I've had it for almost 2 years now.
No way, really?
Mm.
Yeah.
It's been legit for that long?
Yeah. It's been out for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
Dude, I feel like way behind the times now. I didn't even know it was out until like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Did your parents know all about it?
No,
just a little bit.
Yeah,
for
I
mine,
brought them into it mainly though.
Yeah, tell your dad it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, we'll get into your guys' stories in just a bit, but let's thank our sponsors. First, we want to thank everybody for joining us. We really appreciate all you guys so much. You guys are our lifeblood. Everybody in the audience, please comment in, ask questions to the boys. We're going to have their fathers on a little bit later in the show, so you can talk to all of us old farts, and we'll talk to the young guys right now. But we can't do it without you guys. We really do. You already got a comment saying we're old. We really are. So thanks, Brian, for commenting in. But, yeah, please comment in. Join us in the conversation. Ask the kids questions. Even ask stuff like about the new iRacing stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. And also, thank you very much to all of our sponsors. We couldn't do the show without them or you guys in the audience. So thank you very much to the guys at Shock Therapy. You can always use the code DIRTLIFE over there at the Shock Therapy website, or you guys can give them a call. And all the guys know us over there. We're doing a video for the YXZ IQS system, and you can save yourself a whole bunch of money by using that code DIRTLIFE. Thank you guys at KMC Wheels. Ryan over there at KMC Wheels is definitely helping us out. He's a big supporter of the show. We love those guys over at KMC, so go buy some KMC Wheels if you guys get a chance. The Zollinger Racing Products, thank you very much to the guys at Zollinger. They are one of the biggest manufacturers of aftermarket UTV products as well as snowmobile products, and you can use the code DIRTLIFE to save yourself a whole bunch of money with the guys at Zollinger Racing Products. It's ZollingerRacingProducts.com, and follow them on social media at Zollinger Racing Products. Thank you very much to the guys at Rugged Radios. We just did a contest with those guys. I don't know what radios you guys use.
Rugged?
Yeah. Both of you guys? Yeah, see, Rugged killing it. So thank you guys at Rugged Radios. We really appreciate all their support. Use the code DIRTLIFE to save a whole bunch of money on the Rugged Radios that you guys need, especially during this quarantine. You can have some fun, and don't use your cell phone calling walkie-talkies because it's way more fun. And thank you guys at Solder Weld. We're going to give away a Solder Weld off-road repair kit either this week or next week, so pay attention to our social media, and you can win one of those bad boys. Those off-road repair kits are super cool. These guys know about desert racing, and they can repair your truck. They can bond metal for a lot of different things. So if you're anywhere out in the desert and you need to fix something, in the trail or on a race, whatever, you can use the Solder Weld off-road repair kit. So use the code DIRTLIFE at solderweld.com, and you can save a whole bunch of money on those kits as well. So before we get into your guys' stories, I don't know if you guys are very familiar with, like, old farts again. This theme of the show is old farts. But Marty Smith, he's an old motocross racer, and he was a champion back in the day. I actually went to some of his motocross schools, like to learn how to ride dirt bikes and stuff. Unfortunately, him and his wife passed away at the sand dunes, and I wanted to just kind of take a minute to say, that we really want, our condolences to go out to their family. And it just kind of goes back. I mean, you guys go to the sand dunes. You guys know what racing is all about. You really have to be careful. You really have to protect yourself and always be safe in a car anytime you're driving, right?
Right.
So, we just wanted to give Marty and his wife a shout out. So, another thing I wanted to ask was, did you guys hear, and your dad might have heard about this, do you guys know the UTV World Championship is going to be in Lake Havasu this year?
Yeah, I saw that a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever thought about maybe racing those races?
I actually did a couple years ago, and the year before I raced the 170 in the UTV World Championship for Jimmy, and
oh, really?
I got second the first year, and then I won it the second year.
Nice. That's cool. What about you? You ever think about maybe racing a UTV?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get into that because just going after a short course, and then we're gonna try to move on into desert as soon as we possibly can.
That'll be pretty
Same
cool,
here.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. That's just a whole like evolution, right?
Right.
Well, Luke's already got you one up, dude. He's already raced the UTV at the World Championship.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be cool to have the UTV World Championship up in Havasu because it's going to be like a fresh start for everybody, right? So other than Lucretia and a couple other people that are up there, like they're not going to have an advantage. It's going to be an all fresh start for everybody, right?
It's gonna be cool.
Right.
So it should be pretty cool. I think it'll be neat to see what the kids track looks like because I know that they're going to have to completely build that thing from scratch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be pretty cool. What would you guys like to race? What class?
I'm hoping for a 1000.
So Luke
Turbo,
wants a
maybe
1000 turbo. What about you?
Yeah, like probably
Ethan?
a turbo UTV just to start off with, and then like kind of just grow up in that class, and then get if I get better and better through it, just climb up the classes.
That's cool. And so you would start, like, do you think you would start at the UTV World Championship in the short course race? Well, it's not really short course. It's just a smaller or shorter desert race. But you think you would start there? Or you think you would go, like, straight into the big dogs?
Start easy.
Yeah,
go forward.
start easier with the shorter races, and then once we progress longer and longer, we just go into the bigger races.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys probably have some good support with your father in the pits and stuff like that, huh?
Yeah.
Mhm.
With the team he runs, they all want to see me out there. So.
Yeah, that would be
Pretty cool to
super
have that.
cool, man. I want to go up there and check it out. I think Havasu is going to be a bitchin' place to have those races, so we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully we all get to hang out and eat some tacos.
Yeah.
So we had some tacos earlier for anybody that's watching the show. What do you guys think of the tacos today?
They're amazing.
Yeah, they were really good.
Pretty
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie, that was really good.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that I wanted to say before we talk about your guys' stories is I wanted to thank your parents, Ethan, for very much helping me when I had my accident last year. They were
Oh,
a
yeah.
huge help in getting me back to my normal self, right? So
Right.
it was cool that that you guys helped. It was a nice thing to have, man. The support mechanism was awesome. So thank you very much to Eric and Kelly for doing that stuff. All right, well, let's get into it, man. So I kind of had the same questions. We were going to have you and your dad on and then Jeff and Luke on at the same time, but we switched it up, right? We're having the kids on first and then the old farts on second.
Yeah.
We can't have too many old farts in here, right? So, can you tell us how old you guys are? So, Luke, you go first.
Yeah, I'm 13 right now. I turned 14 in a month or so.
I'm 14, so that's the one thing I've beat you in so far.
Yeah.
I'll take that small victory.
Is that, well, since you
You're
said
beating me in
that.
iRacing right now.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, how has the competitiveness been since you guys have been kids? Like, you guys are always battling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Mhm.
always had a little fight against each
Yeah,
other.
just a little good battles, clean. Try to
Yeah.
keep it as clean as you
You
can.
guys may not realize it at this point, but those types of battles and those types of competition growing up make you like your whole program and your whole career way better. Like we used to do that all the time in dirt bikes and stuff too, and if we didn't have that, we'd have been way slower.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's cool to have that. And then like you said, he's beating you in iRacing now. You probably want to come up and beat him, and then if you're beating him on the track in Lucas short course or whatever, then you probably want to get up there and so who knows? Maybe it'll teeter-totter some more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it for surely has because I was like last season on the iRacing series. I was way back in the pack, kind of mid-pack, back in the pack, and he was always up front. And Luke was like, "Hey, well, because we did a practice race, and I kind of was like, really, I was getting faster and faster. And Luke was like, "Hey, man, I just want to help you out, give you a good setup, and let's be on
Really?
the team." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, for sure, man."
Dude,
And so
that's
he
like
gave me a
unheard of.
setup. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he just gave me a setup, and we started doing so many practice laps. I think one of the practice sessions we had was like 100 laps together, just
Dang.
running laps, passing, and just working on stuff like that.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
gnarly
Yeah.
was
Team.
that, running that many laps, though?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, it takes a toll a little bit, but it's just getting way better and better and battling in the front of the pack instead of mid in the rear.
Yeah,
And
like what he
yeah.
said, it was kind of at the start of when coronavirus was coming up, and I knew racing was starting to go on a downhill, and iRacing was getting bigger and bigger, and I was like, oh, well, let's make a team. Let's get some sponsors in here, and I brought Ultra Wheels and a couple other sponsors. He brought some sponsors, and we made a pretty big team, and now we're 1 and 2 in the championship right now.
Those-
Like
Yeah.
70 people, I think.
Yeah, well, you make it sound like it's so easy, though. Like, that's a
not.
pretty mature thing for kids to do, is come up with all that stuff. Like, and
Right.
that's probably going to help you guys huge in your racing programs, like your real off-road racing programs in the future, too.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of relationships that you can start because of that.
Right. Just growing bigger and bigger, and like the best part is having people see you, 'cause like With the Connor series, there's so many people watching now. I think there was like
Is that the iRacing
2,000.
series that
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Yeah,
There was like
last week there was
2,000 and
3.7K
Yeah,
views.
for views, and who knows, that could be someone like the main company watching and saying
Yeah.
like, oh, these two are really progressing, and like just picking and choosing everybody who's like driving there, and then they can go back, look them up maybe on Instagram,
Or
and
maybe
then
even
just see
somebody
'em.
that never even watched a Lucas short course
Oh,
real
yeah,
race.
for sure.
That's
Yeah.
pretty crazy to think about.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty neat, though. And
Yeah.
that's good that you guys realize that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, we've had some new faces come in and talk to us actually about the iRacing thing. And
Really?
wanna
Are
get
they
involved.
companies that you've already known about, or are they just like off-the-wall companies?
Actually, the design company that's making our designs for the Pro 4, it's Sean Heck. He's Affordable Sign Company, I think. And he's a pretty small company out of San Diego, and he does amazing work for me and him.
Mhm.
Like
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He actually made me and him Pro 2 bodies for Jim Beaver's big race this Saturday.
How
Right.
cool is
And
that?
So, in
Yeah.
under 2 hours. So
No way.
Yeah, the work he does is really amazing. Like all the graphics and everything like that, it just looks amazing.
Like you're going to hire him to do your real short course truck?
Maybe we'll see, get some good designs going with him, but he does a really good job, and he's fast with it too.
That's pretty
So-
rad, man. That's super, super cool. Well, so you guys have ambitions in iRacing, obviously. You want to get better, and that's the topic of discussion for you guys lately. But let's go back a little bit and talk about how you guys even got into racing off-road. So, Luke, why don't you go first? Where did you start? Did you guys have, like, dirt bikes? Like, did your dad grow up in motorsports?
my dad actually was racing 1600 cars back in the old days, and then my sister got involved, and I was always like her right-hand man, if you could say, and I was trying to give her pointers and lines, and she would never listen to me. But finally one day he was like, you should probably listen to him. He watches a lot of stuff. And so my first day out with my new car, and I just went right around her on the outside, and she was like, what the heck?
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so then I got involved, and it's been an awesome journey up to the mod cart now, and hopefully into a UTV next year.
That's pretty cool. So did you have, like, before that, before you had that, like, opportunity to do that, did you, like, look at her and be like, oh, I want to do that? Like, it looks super cool.
Yeah. I think I was like 4 or 5. I was like, Dad, when can I get involved in this? And
Oh, really?
I
that
think
young?
at 6 or 7, he got me my first Junior 2, and I went out. I don't know what it was. It was like kind of like a little small thing inside of I think it was at the Arizona State Fair one time. It was like a little circle track around, and it was like the first time, my first ever race, and I pulled a 1 to
Really?
start on the pole. I led a bunch of laps, and then I got passed, and I like ended up 7th, I think. It was an awesome experience, and then we've just, like I said, all the way up to mod
Well, being a
carts.
little kid, you were probably just pumped to be in the car in
Yeah.
general, right?
Yeah.
Dang, that's pretty cool. And so for people that don't know who your dad is, maybe you can give a little bit of background on who he is and some of the people that he's worked for and stuff.
Yeah, he's Jeff Knupp. He works at his basically house now in the backyard, but he kind of works for me, I'd say, but he works for Luke Knupp Racing. He's a prep guy, and he works for Travis Williams Motorsports now. It's a big 6100 team. He actually won the Trophy Light Championship in Best in the Desert last year.
Yeah, he's got a lot of accolades.
Yeah, I think he won 5 out of the 7 races, had the points championship by, I think, over 100 points. It was just a dominating performance, and then now we sold the Trophy Light, and now we're in 6100, and he's kicking butt in that as well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And so that's what kind of got you and your sister into it, right? Like, Dad was already into it and stuff like that. And that's kind of the way that, I grew up, too. Like, my parents were into going to the dunes and stuff like that. So what about you, Ethan?
It's the craziest thing. I actually went to one of his races, and I saw him, and I was like, Dad, I really want to do this. And then it was actually his dad that was able to give us one of his spare cars, and we started a race. And I think it was my first race. I maybe got 3rd, and I was hooked from there.
That was a Junior 1 cart?
Yeah, it was a JR1,
I think
and
the
I
picture's
just
actually up here of him in it.
I think
Yeah,
so.
First
Yeah.
podium.
with your long hair.
Yeah, that was crazy, but it's funny
The
how
smile
it
on your
all
face
links back.
kind of explains it all, though, in that
Yeah.
picture. So if you guys didn't see that picture, go check out our Instagram. He got some cool pictures of the guys up there. So did your dad do any motorsports or anything like that?
He just grew up going to the sand dunes like your parents, like you
Yeah.
said. And he just grew up. He started in a tent, and he just grew up going there and just loving it.
That's
And
super
then
cool.
he took me to one of Luke's races, like I said, and he just got hooked from there.
That's really
So,
neat.
Yeah.
Did you ask him to go to that race, or he just took you and you were like, sweet?
Yeah, that's basically what I did. He was like, hey, we're going to go to one of these races. And I was like, okay, like not knowing anything about like off-road, short course, or anything like that. And I watched.
Did you like ride bicycles and stuff at least before? Like, did you kind of know like
yeah,
what?
I grew up riding a quad at like 3 years old.
So
My
you
dad
knew
put
a
me
little
on
bit,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. But like when I went to watch, I was like, this is amazing. Like this is so cool. I want to
Yep.
get into it. And I was fortunate enough to be able to do it, and I was just amazed. I was like, no way. And I just been hooked ever since. And then like going in the mod, it's such a transition from each class. Like the J2 from the mod, it's so much of a different change because like you have to drive smooth with the JR2,
Yeah.
and you have to drive smooth with the mod, but you're going so much faster, shifting, pulling tear-offs, and everything like that. It's just
There's
makes
a
it
lot
way
going
more
on.
crazier. Oh,
So I've always wanted to drive a mod cart. I'm a little bit big for the mod carts, but I've really always wanted to drive one just because I thought they were so like you're so busy in the driver's seat because you have so much going on. It's kind of like the way that the Yamahas are now with shifting and all that stuff.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. I've always thought that mod carts were awesome. One time before I even knew about like short course racing in general, I saw Jeremy McGrath get in a mod cart. Like they must have made it so his pedals were
yeah.
further, but he got in there and he was ripping,
Yeah.
like just totally ripping. Okay, so when you went to that first race, did you talk to Luke that first race? Did you guys become like instant best friends or no?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I just watched him and I was like, that's really cool. I don't think I ever talked to him until like JR2. I think is when
really?
I finally got involved with other people and stuff like that.
Yeah, because it was
Yeah.
probably too much, like a lot to handle, like right when
Yeah.
you were getting into it. What did you think, Luke, when you were like, oh, I got a new competitor?
It was actually a lot of fun because he was actually racing my backup cart.
Oh, really?
So I was telling him a lot of stuff about how to drive it and how to be smooth with your
So
hands.
kind of like having a mentor,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Mhm.
That's pretty neat. A young mentor. That's
Yeah.
I've never heard that, but that is awesome. How did that feel like being like having your protege coming up? Like, because now you guys battle all the time. Were you like at some point like, maybe I shouldn't have told him that secret line
It's
or
the same
that?
thing in iRacing.
Yeah. It's the
Really?
same thing. He took me under his wing and just taught me how to do everything. It's funny.
That's
But,
pretty
yeah.
cool. And you're a little bit older than him, so one of these days you're gonna have to start teaching him some stuff too, right?
Maybe. I mean, we'll find
I
out
go to the
sooner or
sand
later.
dunes.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
He's an expert in the sand. We know that. I saw you sail on a Can-Am, dude, last time
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
went.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool. And we'll
Right.
have to ask your dad, like, you were sailing the Can-Am. Was he just sitting back at camp because he busted the car?
Yeah, he has a really cool sand card that he's had for quite a bit of years, and he barely brings it out. One of the trips, it was just sitting in the trailer waiting to go out, and my dad is just like sitting at the camp now.
Yeah.
'Cause, he told me it was so much crazier back in the day and going to the sand dunes. It was just crazy, partying till like 3 a.m., sleeping in until like 2 or 1. And he was like, yeah, you guys got the boring sand dunes now. I mean, there's no real parties because we go
He's
to
not
Buttercup.
wrong, though.
Yeah, he's not that wrong, but yeah, it's crazy because he just sits back and it's actually my mom's Can-Am, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So mom let you
so-
send it in her Can-Am?
She's a little iffy about stuff. like I'll do things that scare me, and I'm like, whoa, okay. Like I had someone sitting next to me. I think it was one of my cousins, and I jumped it off the comp hill, and the front end kind of dug to the sand a little bit and brought sand up.
Like
and
a
I was-
sand wave?
Yeah, and I was like, oh. I was like, don't tell mom.
Yeah.
After that, I was
If
like,
mom
I
didn't see,
mean to
don't
do
tell her.
that. Yeah.
Yep. We like going on what your dad was saying about the dunes. I actually went to the Cinders this weekend up in Flagstaff, which is a pretty cool riding area. I've never been up there, so it was fun. But we were talking about they didn't have like you're not allowed to start campfires right now for whatever reason. And we were talking about like back in the day when your dad was at the dunes, we used to start magnesium blocks, like engine blocks on fire. And they were like a huge white-blue flame.
Oh, yeah.
And you could light it at the hill, like at the bottom of the hill, like somebody bring one, and it would go like all night, maybe even to the next day, like depending on how good it was. And those were like the times that I remember, like as a little kid, like growing up, because I like saw these crazy flames and all this stuff. So, like my parents got to live that same thing that your dad did. That's pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah, he was talking to me about Sovi bombs. I've wanted to do one of those for so long. It's like a glass bottle that they stopped making, and you pour like race fuel in it.
Yep.
And you put it over the fire, and it just blows up a huge mushroom cloud.
Yeah, it
and
does.
I was supposed to do it for my 14th birthday, but he forgot to bring it. And so I was
fail.
and when he told me, he was like, "Oh, I was supposed to bring the Sovi bomb," and I was like, What? Because
Dude.
I was so mad. I was like, come on, the one time.
You gotta try it one of these days though,
I
because
will,
it's pretty
hopefully.
awesome.
Yeah.
So the those things.
Yeah.
So we had Daniel commented and said those were the days. Next trip, and we also had Alfonso comment and said, "Don't tell mom." I wonder how many times you guys have said that, both of you.
Oh yeah, quite a bit.
So, what do you guys like to do, like, other than racing? Because obviously the iRacing thing is coming out, but like, are you guys able to social distance now, like on bicycles? Or you guys go out? Like, what are you guys into?
Yeah, I'm kind of into like mountain biking. Well, I used to be really into it, but now I've fallen off for some reason. But I'm gonna get back into it, and it's just so much fun, like riding around with everybody. Cause we have a trail. We're so lucky to have a trail like right next to us where we live, so we can just ride out of the driveway and then go to the trail. And it's so much fun, cause it's like you got downhill part, you got an uphill part, and it's like sandy.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to really control your mind and stuff like that, and it just makes you better with reaction times and strengthens your arms, your
It
legs,
really
your
does.
core.
It gives you a lot of cardio, all that stuff. What about you, Luke? What do you like doing?
I did a little bit of football for high school. Never really, wasn't that good. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah. Don't tell mom.
But other than that, like, I ride my bike to school every day. I want to do mountain biking, like he said, but there's just nothing really around, and we can never find a time. We're always so busy with needing to
Yeah,
go
you
to
guys don't have
racing.
like driver's license to be able to go anywhere
Yeah.
yet. So, but it's cool that you guys are like, when you guys get your driver's license, it's gonna be like so easy for you to
Yeah.
drive because you guys have been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I asked that question, like what else you guys like to do, is because the show's called The Dirt Life, and
Right.
it's pretty clear that you guys like spending time in the dirt when you're at the track racing, or when you're not at the track, you're iRacing in the dirt. Like,
Right.
so that's why I was asking like what other stuff you guys like to do. So, what grades are you guys in then?
I'm in 8th.
Yeah, I'm in
Same.
8th, going into freshman.
Yeah. So, what do you think about going to high school next year?
It's going to be a weird change, but I'm ready for it.
Are you gonna have to go to a completely different school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's inside of my district, so.
Oh, okay,
And my
cool.
sister went to it, so.
What about you?
Yeah,
Same
it's
thing?
the same for me, and I get to get rides for my sister, so I don't have
Oh,
to go on
jackpot!
the bus. Yeah.
That'll be pretty cool.
But she said if I'm mean to her, then she's gonna start paying, or like I have to start paying for the rides.
Really?
And, yeah. So I'm trying to be as nice as I can.
That's the way
but
to do it.
it's- Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna tell you you're being mean, even if you're being nice, just so you can get some extra cash.
Oh,
What
yeah,
about you?
for
Are you
sure.
gonna be able to get a ride from your sister or no?
She's actually going to be a freshman in college next year, which is going to be weird to see, but
That'll actually be pretty cool though.
I think one of my buddy's sisters is going to take me every day.
All right, so I have a younger sister. She's 2 years younger than me, and we always like would learn stuff from each other. Have you guys learned cool stuff from your sisters since they're a little bit older than you?
Yeah. So she was pretty small, and so we have a pool in our backyard, and so then there's a hot tub, and you can like jump off into the pool. She kind of like it taught me to don't freeze up when you're in the moment. So she was standing on
ate
the
it?
thing, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. She literally
Oh,
just
great.
the chin, just open, and I was like, okay.
If Bella
probably
wants to
shouldn't do
defend
that.
herself, she's welcome to come in
Oh,
here
yeah.
and defend herself.
But she kind of like tried to jump off backwards, like not even a backflip, just kind of like jump off backwards, do like a pencil kind of dive, and she just freaked out, and so she tried to go back in and just busted her chin.
Dude, what it doesn't kill you makes you stronger, though.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it was,
That's pretty cool, though, that your sister's got guts to be able to do stuff like that.
yeah.
The
it's
only
pretty-
really thing I can remember from my sister was we used to have like razor scooter races on. I was actually telling him the story earlier.
Oh yeah.
We used to go off my concrete driveway and then we jumped onto a dirt road.
Yeah?
And so we were like going
On the
around-
razor scooters, though? Isn't that gnarly on the dirt?
Yeah, we weren't really like riding. We were just like running. With
That's
them.
a new thing for the dirt life right there. Razor scooter dirt life.
Yeah, and then one time I was and she was like, we were racing and she was like, this is how you should jump it. And then I jumped it and a rock got stuck in my tire and I did like a front flip
Whoa.
and landed all, and my knee was all cut open and.
Well, I see you already got a cut on this knee, too.
Something weird, but the scar right here.
That's the kids in the dirt life, dude.
Yeah.
We used to do that same stuff, man. Did you guys have to build, like, your own tracks and stuff like that? Like BMX jumps and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, too?
But I was like, my parents were like, okay, you gotta stop digging in dirt. So they got me these plastic ramps,
Yep.
and then I could jump on the plastic ramps. But you know those like Power Wheel cars, the little
Yeah.
ones. So I used to have one of those, and our driveway kind of like stoops down. And so my sister's older than me, and what I would do is I would go in and just yank the wheel this way, and it would just spin out. And
Because
then
it
go
has
to
plastic
360.
tires, so you can. Yeah.
So I was like, come on, Bella, let's do this. So she sat in the passenger seat, and we did it, and I rotated on her side, so we went like this, and there's like slits in the driveway, so we hit a slit, and
caught
we just, we flipped over, and her head hit first, so it like pounced the car out, and it sat, and I was like, okay, so that's like the first flip I've been in a car, and I was
Dude.
like, wow, that's pretty fun.
So I keep getting like a common like story or theme here going. Like your sister gets hurt a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think she's gonna have to like start driving, and then you're gonna have to start sitting passenger and see what happens.
Yeah, but she's tall, so she's like pretty clumsy with what she does, and yeah.
I'm telling you,
So-
man, you're not gonna. Tomorrow, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Didn't she run into your house with her new car?
Yeah, she actually. So she was backing up. That wasn't my story.
Oh yeah. So
but
wait,
she
she
was-
just got her driver's license, right?
Yeah, it was
And
like
so
a
she-
little
and-
bit ago.
And your dad told me this story, but I'd like to have our audience know what car did she pick to get for her
It was
first car?
Chevy Malibu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty respectable, first of all, to get a good car like that. But she had an incident.
Yeah. So she's not very. She's not very aware with like car judgment. Like super. Like,
You're
super
talking
aware of
about
it.
like speed and distance and
Yeah,
space
like
and
kind of
stuff.
like how long and wide it is. So she was backing out of the garage, right? And apparently she was just off, and she turned a little bit too early and just scraped the side of the wall of the house. And I was like, how did you hit a house? And she was like,
way to over exaggerate it, bro.
but like, and then so after she did it, she was like, oh, she freaked out, went to her friend's house, and they tried to scrape it off and cover it as much as they could. But I saw
There's
it,
no
and I was
covering
like,
something like that,
yeah.
dude.
And the worst part was my parents were in Mexico.
Oh,
So
great.
they didn't know anything about it, and I was
The first
I kept
initial
a
reaction
secret.
she had was like, "Thank God they're in Mexico. Maybe I can fix this."
Yeah. So I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. She said it herself.
All right,
So
good.
I kept the good secret there. That's the
At
most
least you
important
have an
part.
honest sister, though. At least you got an honest sister.
Yeah,
She told
yeah.
mom and dad, so that's good. Well, that's good. Maybe since you're going to become a professional driver one of these days, maybe you could give her some tips, and she's been helping you.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
you got any funny stories about your sister like that? She crashing into walls too?
No, she hasn't crashed into a wall, but I know one time on the freeway, a tire fell off of someone's car, and she just rammed it, and there's a big tire mark on the front of her car now.
Oh, dang. That's actually happened to me, too. I would like to consider myself a decent driver, but in that situation, I felt hopeless. Like,
Yeah.
I had like a little Volkswagen Golf, like, I don't know, cool kid car at the time, right?
Oh,
And then this semi-truck tire just landed right in front of me. And no joke, like, the car was only probably 4 inches off the ground. Like, it was just a low car.
Yeah.
And it sent the whole car, like, we were doing like 75, 80 miles an hour. It sent the car, like, probably... I don't know how the distance was, but when you're going 80 miles an hour, it's got to be like 100 feet. But you're only like this high off the ground, and you're like sideways, like whipped, like in your
So
mod
you're
car, like
sideways
like
jumping
like
like
you
that?
came off like on a wet track or something. It's sketchy, dude. So kudos to your sister for holding on to that bad boy. That's
yeah,
pretty.
She's a sketchy driver. She goes a little fast.
You guys are both gonna get it tomorrow, dude. Talk crap about your sisters.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got Brian Hawkins said I want to motorize Power Wheels too.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
Those are some fun days.
They
but-
are. Have you seen when, like Nitro Circus, like Travis Pastrana and his crew, they take the engines out of them and they just go like busting down a huge hill?
I don't know how
Backflips
that
and
would be
stuff?
like comfortable, because when you land, it's probably just plastic.
I don't think they care if they're comfy. I think they just want to beat
just,
each other.
They land and it's crazy. Because I actually went to one of them live, and I was just looking at them like, how can you do that?
Oh, you're
like,
talking about like on the ramps and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about like down a dirt hill.
Oh,
Oh
Like,
yeah, I saw
They line
those
up a
ones,
bunch
too.
of dudes and they go bananas, like
Yeah.
ramming into each other, flipping, like.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
Well, I remember,
would-
I don't know if you know who Attain Media, or it used to be Attain
Yeah.
Media, now it's Bryant Lambert Productions, I think.
Yep. Brian's awesome, dude.
Yeah. And I think it was like Ronnie Anderson, Miles Cheek, Brock Hager, Brock Dickerson, Elliott Watson. They were all like at an asphalt downhill section, and they were going into corners, throwing it in, and then like a wheel would fall off, and they just went flipping.
Yeah.
Like barrel rolling.
I
It
would
was
wear like
crazy.
football pads or something.
Yeah, something to protect.
So there you go. Like you guys could team up because he's already done football, and then you know the Power Wheels, so you guys could put it all together and like get a
Oh,
really
yeah,
good
make
like
a-
Yeah.
the perfect car.
downhill Power Wheels racing.
That would be
Yeah.
pretty fun.
That would be
Lethal
pretty
Power
fun.
Wheels.
Team just going lethal Power
Yeah.
Wheels.
Get a sponsor by Power Wheels,
Yeah,
right?
put them on the side of the car if you want
Yeah.
prizes. Top 3, go
Power
to the
Wheel
name.
sponsor.
Yes, that would be amazing.
That would be pretty cool because then you could dress up your mod carts as Power Wheels
Oh,
too.
That'd be
yeah.
awesome.
That would be
That
pretty
would
cool.
Be pretty cool.
All right, so let's take a step back real quick then. So where did you grow up at, Luke?
I think it was Buckeye, where my dad grew up for
Yeah.
a couple of years, and then I moved. What? That too.
In Litchfield Park, yeah. So
Yeah.
both of those are like Phoenix, Arizona kind of area. And then Ethan, you grew up down in Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So both of those are places that are super hot, but they go back to kind of what we talked about before, kind of growing up in the dirt, right? Because you're not growing up at the beach like if you lived in Newport or Huntington or something,
Right.
right? So you're the way that you grow up is different. You know, you don't go surfing. You may go skating a little bit, but you might do traditional sports like Luke did with the football, or you go mountain biking and stuff like that. So do you guys think, like, when you go to, like, Newport or the beach or anything, do you guys think different? Like, you really enjoy doing that stuff, or are you happy with the stuff that you grew up doing?
I'm pretty happy when I go, because, like, when you go to the beach, there's, like, because, like, going to the dunes for me is, like, a relief. Like, there's no points on the line. Just go have fun. And, like, that's the same with the beach. You don't have to do anything. You just go out there, have fun.
Yeah, and just hang out.
Mhm.
Same way with like he has the dunes and I do the desert. With
Yeah.
when I go out and help with Travis's team, I'm usually like last year I was the
Travis
facility-
who?
Travis Williams.
Yeah.
He owns Diamondback Materials, one of my newer sponsors.
Cool.
And now I was last year.
What team is that you help? Is it a 6100 team?
It's a 6100 team now. Last year's Trophy Light.
Cool.
And I was the fueler last year, and now it's like you have a pressurized system, and it's like scary. So
Yeah.
so I'm the jack guy this year. So
Well,
cool.
we're going to get into a little bit of that stuff, but that's really cool that you guys are getting those experiences. I know that you got an experience to come out and, you know, help with some desert stuff or, you know, participate in that stuff. I think those are very, very valuable experiences, not just because you're learning something new, is because you guys as racers, when you start doing that and getting behind the driver's seat, you'll have respect and understand what everything is happening behind the scenes, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, well, let's take another step back and talk about school, because that's pretty important. We talk about being professional racers. It's all cool and everything, but school is like the baseline for everything, right? Like
Right.
me, when I grew up racing, or grew up, I was going to school, and I wanted to be a professional dirt bike racer, but I didn't really like care about going to school, right? All I cared about was just going to the races. Well, I did well enough in school to make sure that I kept up my grades and I did all the things that needed to be
Yep.
done. But when I got hurt, then I was like, oh crap, what do I do now? Like I don't have
Right.
anything to fall back on, right? And it made me like revisit all the things like you guys have talked about, like learning in the pits and stuff like that, because I started thinking, what am I good at? Like, what am I going to be able to like go forward with? And math was really huge. Like I was good at that because I was good at like making things like what your dad is, fabricating and, you know, calculating certain things, suspension geometry, like all of those things. And so I started getting into that stuff. Do you guys have like things like that you think about in school, or do you kind of just go through the motions when you're going, you know, on a day-by-day basis?
the biggest thing is for racing, I have to make them happy with, because the first thing they say is family, school, and then racing.
Yeah.
And so I always send them when I get my report card and everything what I have, and they're like, good job, or you might not get as much money this month because like I wasn't doing as good in grades, but like you said, you were good in math. I'm really good in science. Like I kind of want to
cool.
do good in science, and so that's something I would do.
Do you guys have like a backup plan too? Since you're talking right now, Luke, if you decided not to become a racer or you just didn't want to do it or whatever happened, what would you do something like besides racing?
I haven't really like, looked at anything, but like I said, science would be like a scientist or something like that. That would be really cool.
Dude, you should figure out a freaking killer for this coronavirus. Help us out a little bit here.
Yeah.
What about you, Ethan?
I'm not the best in school. I'm kind of like, I grazed the bottom of being able to race.
Yeah, but
and
every
not-
time I talk to you, dude, you're smart. Like, is it because you just don't care?
Well, I'm good in language arts because that's mainly like writing and reading and stuff. I'm pretty good at reading. I personally don't really like to do it in my off time, but I'm pretty good at it.
You're
pretty
not
good
sitting
at,
out like in the
writing
day room
essays.
reading books and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I'm pretty good at writing essays because I like to like talk a lot and like make up stories, I guess. And yeah, that's basically it. And I think I would fall onto like wrestling probably.
Really? You like wrestling?
I've been doing it since 7th grade, and so it's just been really cool getting to hang out with all my friends and everything like that.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be really fun because like wrestling and stuff like that is like because wrestling is just something so cool to do, and like you don't really have to you have to have a lot of skill and a lot of strength, and you just have to do everything like all yourself because like I self-taught myself. And like, well, not really self-taught, but I had really good coaches and people like that, and I had a lot of people to back me up with
Right,
it.
you were self-motivated
So,
and you want to go forward with it, so you were doing all the like extracurricular stuff to be able to get better.
Right, and I was just and my dad used to wrestle as well, so he was pretty good in it, and then I just wanted to carry that on, and my grandpa is really into it as well, and I just really wanted to get back into wrestling. Or I just want to now, but since I dislocated my kneecap, I had to sit out the whole season for 8th grade.
You healed up pretty quick, though, dude.
Yeah.
We had a comment come in. So Chris Pete 369 says, "I like to make up stories," and he started laughing.
Yeah, that's my cousin. He's like #1 on fake stories there.
Oh, is
he? Yeah, he tells a lot. So yeah, I need to get back into wrestling, and I need to get back in shape because I'm pretty out of shape. So that's what mountain biking.
You're
helps
putting
with
on the
too.
Corona Quarantine 15.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what they're calling it these days. The tacos have been getting pretty hefty on me too, so I've been trying to ride my bicycle a little bit more
Yeah.
too.
How did you dislocate your knee?
Yeah. So
Well,
the question was,
I was-
how did Ethan dislocate his knee?
I was out in the woods, right? And I was just
Living
walking.
your dirt life.
Yeah, living the dirt life, and I was just walking in the woods, and all of a sudden a mama bear, a mama bear with his cubs just jumped me, and so I had to fight him off, and the bear just barely grazed my knee and just popped it out of place, and I was like, wait, so the bear waited, and I got it back in, and so I had to limp,
Should we ask your sister if the story is true or not?
She'll say it's
I
true.
think you're making this story
Yeah.
up.
She'll say it's true.
Oh,
Full
Bella's in on
facts.
it with you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, Chris is laughing, so
Laughing.
we're gonna assume this story might have a little bit of falsities in it.
I mean, it was a bear.
Well, okay.
That's
Well,
the
then
story.
what we'll do is we'll ask your sister after your portion of the
Yeah,
show
bring her on the show.
what your portion, like what you do when you tell a fib. Like, do you like twitch your left eye or
I
like you
suck at
smile?
lying. Like I've tried to like lie to my parents, like, cause like I'll do something bad and I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to do that, and so like, or some.
Is it considered lying when you don't tell on your sister then, or is that like you don't say anything to your parents about crashing into a garage?
Yeah, I didn't say anything, so I.
So is
stayed
that
strong.
considered lying for you too then? Like, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Protecting
know.
a bad secret
Yeah,
there.
I know, but when I lie, I like smile because I can't lie. Like I can't, and that's how my parents actually like raised me. They're like, "Don't lie to me," and they'll make this just like the weirdest face, and I'll look and be like, I didn't do that," and I'll start to like smile, and it's like, "Dang it, they caught me," and then it's like, "Yeah, okay, I did."
It was a
Well,
trampoline and a
so
rope.
now I'm confused because Chris said it was a
Crap,
trampoline and a
yeah.
rope. So
Yeah.
I don't know because he said he was good at telling stories. You're good at telling stories. Now I don't know whose story to
Yeah.
believe here.
Yeah, I think
Like
he's
it's
lying.
just mass confusion on the show
I actually
tonight.
think it was the bear.
Yeah?
I think it was a bear too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm believing the bear.
Dude,
It was a bear.
I should hire you to like write a little bit of stories for all the times that I get hurt, and you
Oh,
can
yeah.
make it like sound
Sure.
really, really
Yeah.
cool. Like
Mhm.
instead of like Evil Knievel jumping over like some
Right.
crazy thing, it was George. George did it.
Yeah, he actually did that. He was actually on the back and just doing a Superman jump like
Yeah.
that. and
Push
just,
Evil Knievel off the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, with his cape and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a killer whale jumped out of the ocean and just hit him, and it was crazy.
I'm liking where this is going. All right, well, let's get back on track a little bit. So, do you guys enjoy going to school then, or is it like, hey, I can't wait till I get off because I want to go do my own thing for racing?
Yeah.
Every week before racing, I'm always like, can school end?
I know.
Gosh.
I always just look at the clock every period. I'm like, all right, my parents are going to come pick me up at 6, and it's like 4th.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, to end to end, and it seems to get longer
Yeah.
and longer before you get picked up.
It always is, dude. It's that anticipation thing, right? And then you get in the car and you're like, sweet, I got to go all the way to Glen Helen to race this weekend. And then you're like, crap, it's another freaking 8 hours.
Yeah.
That's the same way we were when we grew up. Myself and my co-host Casey Peck, and well, even a lot of the other guys that were racing dirt bikes and stuff with us. It was the same thing, man. You just can't wait, the anticipation. And the reason that we started the Dirt Life was because we all learned a lot from those experiences, right? Like so. As much as we may or may not like school, there's a lot of other growing and learning that happens at the races, in the garage, with mom and dad. You know, like you have a special relationship with your family that a lot of kids don't have. So both of you guys have to spend a lot of time with your sisters, your parents, that kind of thing. Do you guys enjoy that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I do.
There's a couple of times where it's like kind of tedious, you know, because like you just like after the races is kind of a hard time to hang out with your family, because like it's either really nice to hang out with your family if you got podium, you won, and it's kind of hard because like if you got like taken out or something like that or something happened, and it's kind of hard to stay positive after the races and just kind of like brush it off like, all right, I'm all right, just get over it. One
Gotta go
race, we
hang out
still have
with
a
your
whole
friends.
race, yeah. And
But
then-
think about if you didn't have their support on the way home, you know what I mean? Like they're there with you. They're part of your team. Like I'm sure there's a lot of self-recollection that comes back after a good race or a bad race even. Like, hey, you know what? This bad race, we learned all of these things. We're not going to make those same mistakes again. And then so you guys get to talk about it for, like, let's just say it's coming home from Glen Helen. That's 8 hours worth of driving, you know? And then you get to think about it the whole time when you're in school, right?
Yeah.
But those aren't bad. Those are really, really good things. And they always say that you lose a champion, or you win a championship on your worst days, not your best days. So everybody wants to go win a race, right? But what do you do when you don't win a race? You make the most out of that day, right? So it sounds like you guys are doing that.
Yeah, you just kind of like look at the positives. Like if you had really good passing, really good shift points, really good like just corners and everything like that, you just kind of try to see what was the best about the race. Like if something bad happened with the car, you look at what happened before when the car broke, and you see, okay, I did really good there, improved that corner, improved the shift marks, and just things like that.
Can you give do you do the same thing, Luke?
Yeah, actually, it's a little bit off topic of what he did, but last year I had a pretty bad racing season. Just I didn't have like the best of luck, I would say, but I took a lot of positives out of it, and I'm coming out this year, which kind of sucks. We're in April and we haven't even had one race yet. So.
But you're
Or
ready
May.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to have a good year.
That's similar to what happened with me. In 2016, I had a really good season. We started with the Yamaha YXZ, and we did really well. We were on the podium more times than not. And the races that we didn't finish, though, were pretty horrible, right? So we learned a lot from those. And then 2017 was just like one that I wish I could just throw away. Like we had started getting sponsorships and support from Yamaha and all these cool things, right? So it's like, oh, my God, this is going to be the best year ever. And then so many different little things happened that made it not a good year. But the next year when we built our car for the 2018 season, I didn't even plan on racing the full series for Lucas. Came out first race, got a second place. So it was like a whole turnaround thing, right? And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't learn from my bad days. So it sounds like you did a lot of that last year too then, huh?
Yeah.
So it's good, though, that you do learn that stuff, because you come in with a whole fresh mindset and you're like all pumped. It's a whole different ball game after you have one of those, huh? Kind of like a reality check, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool to see all the things that I haven't seen before with all the bad days.
Yeah.
To see all the support I had behind me.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when racing starts up again.
Yeah.
See how you turn it around.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you guys are at the track, is it like all business? You guys have fun? Because I know that you guys have awesome support systems with your family and friends around.
Yeah. It's all friends and family, like you said. Just
Right.
we have a lot of fun.
Do you guys have like a certain schedule and regimen that you do? Like, let's just talk like Chad Reed, for instance. I think he puts on his left sock or something like that every time first. Like, do you guys have stuff like that you do at the races?
I think I actually, when I put the steering wheel on, I hit it twice.
Really?
I do that.
What about you, Ethan?
My dad and I have a handshake, and every single time before we go out, we just do the handshake, and it's just like it kind of brings you closer and closer together with everybody, because like it's just something that him and I only do.
You start getting used to it, yeah.
Right, and it's just like, all right, every time, and I don't think we've missed one time he hasn't done it. But yeah, it's
Tell
really
them that
cool.
after the handshake to plug in the radios from now on.
yeah, yeah.
And then make sure that you
But-
can always hear. What about your mom and your sister? Do they do stuff like that when you guys go up to the track?
Kinda. Yeah. They normally go earlier to watch like every single race.
Get
and,
their
like,
spots in the grandstands and stuff?
Yeah.
Is that what your parents do too, Luke?
They watch at home.
Oh,
they don't
do
like
they?
going to races.
Yeah, my mom was never a huge fan of going to the races either. She took me to a few dirt bike races back in the day, but I think she liked watching from home or hearing how it went when I got back too.
Yeah, she's a scaredy cat, I would say.
Yeah.
She
But
doesn't like seeing me go 80 miles per hour.
But yeah, and we can talk about the speed too because you guys haul butt. But she supports you though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome, man. You got to respect that, right? Have you guys ever gotten hurt racing or no?
I don't think so, actually, yet.
Like, well, kinda like maybe just.
Well, four wheels is
concussion
pretty
or two.
safe, so.
I've gotten hit in the arm before by a rock at Crandon. It was a big rock.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that like the mod carts or any of the like smaller vehicles, like even the UTVs, like I've had a rock that was probably the size of like a bowling ball size
Yeah.
come and just hit me in the side of the head. It like took out my shoulder, like the whole deal.
For
It
sure.
hurts.
It's crazy that those little cars can throw up that big a chunk of dirt or rock, huh?
Yeah, and in Crandon, he actually broke my GoPro case because I was behind him and he chucked up a rock, and we have the footage, and we put it in slow motion. You can just see the rock get closer, and it just shattered the case.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can see it like all the way coming up? Dude, that's nuts.
I still have
Yeah.
the rock that hit my my first ever Troy Lee helmet at Crandon. It took about like that much paint off of it, and it complete like I have the rock in my room. I painted it with like Crandon on it.
I'd be so pissed because Troy Lee helmets are awesome.
They are.
That's cool that you got to go to Crandon. Did you go to Crandon? I think you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
How was that? Did you like it?
It was pretty good. I think it was my first race on the 49th year. We got third. So that was
Really?
Yeah, it was really
Good job. How'd you do in Crandon? Do you like the long track, like the wide open the whole time?
Yeah, I like it. I actually last year it was part of the bad luck. Started the first day I actually qualified third, and I made it half a lap, and my chain broke, and I got smashed from behind, and then
That's like the worst when you travel that far and you have bad luck.
the second day I started dead last with me and my buddy Braden Chermonte. We made our way up to second and third on the last lap, and then we both got spun out
Oh, man.
by the same guy.
No way.
Yeah, it sucks.
Was he just out there like pushing people around?
Oh no, we've had some tangles up, me and the guys.
Yeah. We
We're
don't have to
getting
name names on this show
Yeah.
because then we'll all get mad at them. We got your whole family here. We don't want everybody to get, well, especially the sisters. They're going to get too pissed, right?
Yeah, especially Bella.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
for sure.
We got the killer.
Yeah, she's mean.
No, she was actually she had a thing with him.
Uh-oh. Bringing it up.
That wasn't me.
She's outside the studio.
Wasn't me.
She's outside the studio shaking her head. So
Oh yeah.
we'll have to see how this goes. Maybe this will be the snippet that we cut out of the
Yeah,
show.
they actually stopped for a little bit, and then they started picking it back up again.
Ah.
Round two.
Yeah. Going for a second lap around the track.
Dude, she's about to come in and kill you
Yeah,
guys.
she hit me so hard, there was a red mark on my back from her hand. You could see her handprint on my back. She slaps like this, and it hurts. She comes around with the force.
And you guys
just,
didn't learn your lesson. You're still talking crap about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can't see it, but she's pissed over
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, she's really pissed.
She's like this. She's trying to. She's gonna choke me out after
And
the
you know
show,
she has
so.
your phone, so she can post all kinds of crap on your Instagram
Oh,
page
no,
right
I
now,
have
right?
my phone just
Oh,
to
you
make
do?
sure so she doesn't
Okay.
do that. But yeah, she's scary when she's mad. Like, it's terrifying. It's like some just big, like, it's like a UFC fighter coming at you with just coming out like, wah, like doing that, and it's scary.
Well,
'cause
at least
it's-
you're learning like what can happen in the future.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Every night when he's on iRacing with me, she's always messing around with him, and he's like, "Stop!"
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'll get a knife."
Yeah. She's so mean to me, man. She's so mean. I have to protect myself.
So since they're laughing, I think they can hear it through the microphones. We had a comment come in and said that laughing through the peanut gallery. Go get him, Bella. So all right, well let's give your sister a break, dude. So. Do you guys really, like, what's your main goal in racing? You guys want to become professional racers like a Kyle LeDuc? Like, what's your goal? You go first, Luke.
My biggest thing is I want to win a championship in the lures division before I go out to desert. I've already won a couple challenge cups. I've won championships. Just haven't gotten the cool championship in lures. it's like the Cup Series. You want to always win that one.
Right.
So I've always wanted to get that.
Exactly. And what about you, Ethan?
I've just always wanted to like grow up into the different classes and just be like top 5 in every race. That's what I've been telling my dad. I've just been saying I want to get to that level of I can get top 5 every race.
So both of those sound like to me like you guys could, like if I could pick your favorite drivers for you, I think Luke's would be somebody more like a balls to the wall guy like Kyle Duke, and yours might be more like Rob McCachran, where he's like always up there, like kind of consistent and stuff. Is that a good assumption?
You actually picked the right one.
Did I?
My guy is Kyle Duke.
Yeah, and he's actually a super good guy too.
Yeah.
Like he's a really nice person in general. What about you? Who's your favorite driver then?
Yeah, I think it's probably like R.J. Anderson.
Yeah?
I really like him because he's pretty conservative with his truck, and he's been getting better and better, and I've just been watching him.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing to see how like he progressed. Like, 'cause I think he won the Pro 4 championship last year.
Yeah, he does very, very good. Have you guys ever thought about like what happens behind the scenes with those guys and how much actual hard work those guys put in?
Oh yeah,
That's
for
crazy
sure.
with 2-truck team like he had, the Pro 4 and Pro 2.
Yeah, 100%, man. Those guys put in so much work to get to that point. You guys think you're ready to put in that much work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just as long as you get out of school and put that behind you.
Yeah.
Just get out of school and just start. Because for having 2 different cars and driving 2 different cars, it's so weird. Because it's like you have to put on a whole new mindset. Like, because I was driving the J2 and the mod for a little bit, like both, for like a couple races. And I would screw up in the J2 because I was driving it like a mod. And then when I would get in the and then when I would get in the mod, I would drive it like a J2. So it's just kind of like different mindsets you have to go through. And yeah.
That's good though, because it kind of trains you. Like if you do Pro 2 and Pro 4 in the future, or you do desert racing and short course racing, like, are you starting to get that muscle memory and stuff like that? Like now, like since you guys are kind of growing up.
Right.
Yeah. When I was in Junior 1, I actually carried a bunch of it over to the mod car because it's crazy. You think it's like a Pro 4 how you just throw it in and go since it has so much horsepower, but it's actually you want to ease into the throttle, like smooth through the corners, perfect on shift points.
Yeah. It's cool that you guys understand all that stuff. You would be like really, really think that it's crazy that a lot of people don't have any idea, especially like older guys that come into the racing and either they have money or they just want to get into it, whatever it is. They don't know any of those little like tricks and stuff like that you guys know. Have you ever heard the phrase like drive with like there's an egg between your foot and the throttle? Yeah, like that's pretty important. And you see like a lot of guys at the dunes that just go like ham.
Oh yeah, they just
They have
send it
no
straight
clue.
up.
Yeah. So it's cool that you guys can think of that stuff. So if you guys could have, because I always wanted to ask this question to people that I don't really think that have like a bunch of UTV driving experience, if you guys had any pick of any UTV, if you could just go down to the dealership right now and just put down cash, which UTV would you get?
Probably the brand new Polaris XP Pro or whatever it is.
That's what you're going with?
Yeah.
Is that, do they have a 4-seater or is it just 2-seater?
I would do the 2-seater. They
You're
have a
going 2-seater?
4-seater of it, but I would do the 2-seater.
What about you, Ethan?
I think I'd do the Can-Am because just getting used to driving my mom.
You're probably going to have to get it to give it back to your mom after you break her.
Yeah, but it's just like, because I like the Can-Am because when you go out of the corners, especially in the dunes and 4-wheel drive, it just hooks up and it goes straight out from the corners.
Yeah.
And I've actually never drove one of the new Polaris ones, so I wouldn't know like the difference. But yeah, I just really like the Can-Am because and you sit lower.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like you're kind of sitting over the car, but you sit lower, and I like that about the Can-Am.
Yeah. Both of those are super cool. Well, I got to drive a turbo YXZ this past weekend, and that thing was pretty fun. But I still like my favorite one is still my Unicorn, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's a good car. But I think if I was gonna go actually buy a new UTV, I don't like CVTs, which is the belt drive, so I would probably get a Honda. And I think I might even get a 4-seater too, and just put a turbo on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my good buddy Elliot Watson actually is on the
Yeah.
Honda team, and I've been, hey, when are you gonna let me drive it?
Yeah. Cruise out there, or even just take you for a ride, right?
Yeah.
So do they have turbos on those cars too?
I think so. Yeah, the cars do have turbo kits on it.
Dude, tell me when you're gonna go. I'll go with you.
All right, for sure.
We'll just go and hang out. That'll be fun. All right, so we already kind of answered this. I was going to say, how is it growing up with an older sister? Well, I already know that later on you're going to get your butt whipped. So
Yeah, for sure.
So what's your guys' favorite part? And Luke, you can start with this one. What's your guys' favorite part about racing? And it doesn't have to be jumping. It could be hanging out with your family. It could be working with your dad in the garage. It can be anything that you want. But what's your favorite part about racing?
I think mine is the adrenaline rush or just banging doors with your buddies, because you're kind of, they always say you're friends on the track, but you're kind of only friends on them off the track.
Right.
So I try to keep my relationships off the track and not on the track, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You got to make sure that, like, we were talking about this before the show, eating tacos, mind you. Whenever you get off the track, never throw your helmet, right?
Nope.
And my co-host Casey is a real big advocate of that because it teaches you a lot when you can maintain your composure. And you're talking about things like when you say battling door to door and things like that. That means that when you get off the track, you already know in your mind that you have to maintain your composure, right? If your buddy takes you out, let's just say you and Ethan get together and you come off the track, both of you guys are mindful enough to be able to get off the track and say, you know what? Racing is done. We can go back to being friends.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Ethan, what's your favorite part about racing?
Probably just like the bonding time you get with your family, 'cause like they all come up there and come to see you, and it's like your nerves are kind of higher when there's more people. And so when you're out there, you just like to bond with them more. Like when you're off the racetrack, just like talk with them and
Yeah.
just like kind of like build your relationships better and better with them. And like that's just like going with practice sessions, like going out with my dad, just to go into Glen Helen. It's always really fun.
It really does give you a whole different perspective on relationships and stuff, right? Because you see all these people supporting you and you want to give back to them. And I know Luke can agree with this. Like, how satisfying or how gratifying is it when your whole team, you're the driver for the team, you get a podium, you get a win, and you get to thank them because it's so meaningful because they've worked so hard and you guys realize that.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome to be able to thank them because all their hard work and dedication. Like, mainly for me, it's just me and my dad out there most of the time,
Mhm.
which is awesome to see me and him have good times when we have good races. But after the race, when I have a bad race, he's always there to pump me back up until.
That's a good dad right there, man. Good job. So you guys do other stuff. Like, I was asking that question for one reason, and it was because I want to understand you guys as, well, young men, but you guys both like to give back too, right?
Yep.
So I know that you do some giving back with the Ronald McDonald stuff, so we'll talk about that. But what do you like to do to be able to give back to your family or friends or people around you?
I just like to like bring them happiness and joy, you know, like, 'cause like if my friends are having a bad day or whatever, I'll just go over them and be like, hey, dude, we can talk about this, you know. And then like my dad actually does a lot of charity work, and he gives them like money to different types of charities and stuff like that. So yeah, I just want to grow up into my dad's shoes and just give away to charities. And
That's
stuff
pretty
like that.
admirable, man. And you learn a lot, too, because your parents helped me, and that was a super solid thing for them to do for me. So it's cool to see. And, Luke, I even saw you one time at the Ronald McDonald Foundation. It was a benefit. I don't remember what it was actually called that time, but you do stuff with Lucas and other partners to give back to the community, right?
Yeah, Lucas, Super Clean. I don't know other people, but I know Super Clean and Lucas were a big part of that, and it's awesome to give back to all the kids in need, and it's very sad to see how tough they're doing.
Well, so let's explain it a little bit more. Let's go draw it out a little bit more. So you got the opportunity from racing in the Lucas Short Course Series to be able to go to the Ronald McDonald House I saw you in Phoenix. I think you did it in a couple of other places,
Yep.
but kind of walk us through that whole process.
So Greg Cozzo invites us, and
He works for Lucas.
Yep.
Called the Big Red Cowboy Hat.
Yep, we bring our car out there, we put them on display, we bring some autographs, some T-shirts, some swag, and
you're mostly talking to either sick kids or hurt kids or something like that, or families that were in need of getting medical assistance for their children or families. And
we also bring food out for them and cook for them. So that's awesome.
So the one that we went to that I saw you at, there was a barbecue, and then a lot of the, I don't know if you want to call them patients, if that's the right word, but a lot of the people that were there got to come out and look at the race car that you brought, the one that I brought, and just, it was a good time for them. You know, like, what does that feel like to you giving back? Is that like almost like winning a race?
Yeah, it's awesome to do and be a part of because not many people get to experience that, and it's very gratifying and very awesome to feel that. It's hard to explain, but it's awesome.
Well, you should be happy with yourself for doing that stuff because that means a lot to those people, and it really teaches you a lot too. Because once you get to the level of the Kyle LeDuc level that we're talking about, you're gonna already know all that stuff. Like, so you're gonna be able to give back, and you could use your sponsors to give back and stuff.
Yep.
And it sounds like Ethan's kind of on that program too. He's gonna try to do the same thing.
I remember he was at a couple of them as well.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I saw you at the one in Phoenix, but you went to a couple different ones too.
Yeah, a couple of one because I think we went to one in Phoenix. I think somewhere it was a little bit ago. Yeah, I went with Luke and then
I think it was Barry.
Yeah.
Connor Barry, Aiden Ford.
Yeah, the guys at CBR they usually go to. Yeah. So what did you think about it?
It was pretty cool. It was cool to just be able to show people, like, because we were in our race suits and they could just see the race suits and everything like that, and they could really just, like, get some swag if they really wanted it and stuff like that. And I think
Isn't
it's
it
just
funny
cool.
the things that we think are, like, take for granted, like being in our race suit or whatever, we're just like, oh, okay, business as usual, but to see somebody else's face, like, oh my gosh, this is
For
a
sure.
young race car driver standing right in front of me.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat, huh?
Yep.
That's what I like about Crandon the most is because we do that parade and we get to drive the mod carts on the street, which is really fun.
Yeah,
And,
how was that parade thing?
That was
It's
really
awesome.
cool because they line you up by, like, I think class by class, so it was like the mods and then went up from there. And
Instagram stories for days.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically. And it was really cool, like, edits and stuff like that people did. And it's really cool to see, like, all the younger fans kind of come in and see the car and, like, wow, that one's really cool, or wow, that's cool as well. And, yeah, it's just really cool to see all the smiles on people's faces. You give autographs and stuff, like bracelets, koozies, and stuff like that. And, yeah, it's really cool. in
So
Crandon.
that's probably one of the things that you guys will look forward to if you ever do get big time in the desert racing stuff is going down to Mexico and hanging out with all the fans and stuff
Yep.
like that too, huh?
For sure.
Those would be so cool. I've never been to Crandon, but I've always wanted to go. Maybe I'll hitch a ride with you guys one of these years.
Yeah, for sure.
It's awesome.
Are they going to have it this year, do you know?
Yeah, they're gonna have it. I'm pretty sure Crandon and Bark River, the races are for sure going on still. So
But like later in the year or something?
pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I know I'm most likely going. So.
Dude, that'll be pretty cool, man. All right. So what time is it? 7 o'clock. So we're going to get your dads on in just a little bit here. So we already asked about how it was growing up with an older sister. I think the next thing that we're going to ask for both of you guys is what does the future hold for you guys? I know that the coronavirus has kind of slowed things down a little bit. Like, you obviously have your goals for this year to kick some butt. But maybe give me two answers. Like, Luke, you can start. What's this next year have for you? And then where do you see yourself in 5 years?
This year I'm hoping to continue with mod cart until the end of the year, and we're gonna sell it and try to get a razor and be a part of the.
Do you have any specific things that, like, milestones during the year that you want to accomplish?
Yeah, I want to win Crandon. That's my biggest goal this year is Crandon, and hopefully get the Lures Championship. But I know he's gonna make it hard for me. So
Yeah, heck yeah. Well, that's good that you guys are going to battle, though. What about 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself?
hopefully in a 6100 and maybe a trophy truck. That's one of my big goals.
So you want to, like, maybe graduate from the Lucas Series into some of the best in the desert or score stuff?
Yep.
That'd be pretty cool, man. And you got a dad that's on board with you if you guys can get some sponsors and stuff, huh?
Yep.
Sweet, dude. I see your dad shaking his head over there. All right, Ethan, next.
I just want to set my goals to, I just want to win a championship, 'cause I just want to win the Nationals championship, and I know that's like really hard to ask for, but it's just, you got to put in all the work and just, like, putting in the work to the car, putting the work to driving, studying the car and everything like that, and that's just what I want to do. I just want to get the championship.
Yeah, so it sounds like you got a really like a more calculated plan, like, to be able to do that. That's It's neat to see the way that your guys' minds are a little bit different and how you operate a little bit different. I think that both of you guys working together, like, it's really, like, elevating both of your guys' game. That's pretty cool. What about 5 years from now, Ethan?
I want to be probably like he said, in the desert or in a, like, trophy truck, and I eventually want to be able to be lucky enough to do a Dakar race, actually.
Yeah.
That
'Cause-
would be pretty cool.
Yeah, but it takes a toll on you, it seems, because it's so long traveling from far, and, like, you just have to be able to get there with sponsors and people knowing you. and
It
stuff
really
like
is.
that.
It's so expensive. And you know what I learned last week from Sarah Price that was on the show last week? It's called Dakar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I always said Dakar too,
Mhm.
but it's called Dakar.
Oh.
So now I know that. Now we all know how to pronounce it right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah, for telling us. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then, and then obviously I know that you guys want to thank your family and stuff, but who do you guys want to thank before we get the dads on the line?
One of my main sponsors, or my actual title sponsor, Ultra Wheels. They've been with me a long time. So, Ultra Wheels, Rigid Industries, Lucas Oil Products, Super Clean, Impact Race Gear, Diamondback Materials, HJC Helmets, Rod End Supply, and everyone else.
Okay. Well, I actually have one more question, but you thank who you want to thank right now, too.
I want to thank just Vision X. I want to thank Extreme Machine for just backing me up through the whole series. And I want to thank Puffin for making the T-shirts, Element 7 for such a great wrap job and everything, and just everyone,
Your
all
car
the
does
fans.
look pretty sick. Both of your cars look
yeah.
sick, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's
See
some of
the
my
new
favorite
one,
ones. Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Just all the fans and everything like that.
Yeah,
Just
that's
supporting.
cool. It's good that you guys have such a well-rounded understanding of who's out there. So we kind of talked a little bit about the iRacing stuff, but I'm really interested in this. And I talked to your parents, and I think I might actually come over to your house, Ethan, this week and check it out. So what's a good day to come over there?
Probably this Wednesday, because I think we're gonna have a series race up. So that should be cool. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what do you guys do for the whole thing? Because I would like to see if I could get in and like drive it, but you can just like put me on the practice track kind of thing. But like, can you do that, or do you use it like all in, like full tilt iRacing?
You can just, because like what Luke and I do is he'll set up a session, and it's just for a practice session for like an hour or two, and we'll just go run laps, and I can just set you up on that, and it works really well, because sometimes I'll just hop on and just get some
Oh, like I
practice
could
laps
drive
down.
with him then too?
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt your like race day though. Dude, that would be pretty sweet, man. I'd be super into that. Well, thank you guys very much for inviting me over and trying to some iRacing with you guys. I think that'll be a cool thing for me to do. Maybe it'll even teach my eyes to work a little bit better, huh? Go all crazy on the computer. Do you guys wear the goggles, or is it like the screens?
I have the goggles is what
It's
I
hard
use.
to see.
Yeah, I had him on it a little bit earlier before he went here, and he was overcorrecting like this, and it took me
With
a full
the goggles?
season.
Yeah.
With the VR.
Oh, so Luke, you like using the screens, like
Yeah. More of the
Is it
screen
more?
guy.
Is that more like a windshield, like a normal driving
You
cockpit?
can see all the way around.
Because I've seen a bunch of dudes using the goggles.
And it's pretty cool with those because you can actually like turn to your left, turn to your right for
Get out
to
of the
see
car.
people. Yeah. And
Oh,
you can,
really?
Like actually see people like really cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'd like to try both of those things. Well, thank you guys very much. You guys have anybody else that you'd like to thank? I know that you guys are both very, very thankful for your sisters.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
That didn't sound like you were very thankful. Well, thank you very much to your family for bringing you guys down and talking on the show and stuff like that and hanging out. It was really, really cool. And we hope that racing gets back together like pretty quick here so that we can all start hanging out at the track instead of in the studio, right?
Right.
And for all you guys watching, go follow Lethal Esports on Instagram.
Yep. That is.
Yeah.
Say it a little louder.
Lethal Esports, and then an underscore after it.
All right, so go check it out. We got a comment coming in saying that maybe the iRacing stuff would be okay for me because we can still I could still drive like a beast. We drove that turbo car at the Cinders, and I was too short with my leg braces on to reach the brakes. But we still hit, I think, 70, 75 miles an hour with no brakes and just a clutch and a gear shifter going ham. It was pretty fun down some of those dirt roads. So, Brian, thanks, man. Thanks for hopping in the passenger seat. We're going to go to commercial break, and we'll be right back with all the old farts. See you guys soon.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target, and we are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Yeah, finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I'm trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch, you can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans like let's say a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there, or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up
You can patch it up. It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah. Also, as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel. And then your hop lock, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything, so that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
it's
the
like a first
truck.
aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, Chase trucks have it as well, so that if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period. Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
And, well, I guess we're the old farts now since we got the young kids gone, right?
Well,
so
we're the old farts.
Yeah.
We're the...
Well, I'm right there with you guys. But so we have both Luke and Ethan's dads in the studio. Thank you very much, Eric, for bringing the kids. Thank you very much, Jeff, for driving all the way down.
No problem.
Really appreciate
definitely
you.
Down here.
It's totally different than Phoenix, Arizona, right?
Yes. I don't know what it is about the drive to Tucson. I've just never been a fan.
Yeah.
It's like traffic's always crazy and
it's always the worst coming from like the whole from Chandler to Casaran is like I hate that drive.
Absolutely.
Man.
I agree.
So I heard that they just couldn't get the lanes to open up because the reservation wasn't allowing them to open it up. But well, that's besides the point. I just wanted to thank you guys for bringing the kids in. Obviously, thank Kelly for coming down. And I told the kids, and I don't know if you heard when you guys were listening, but thank you very much for all the help that you guys gave me during my time of need last year. This is super cool that you guys stepped in and helped us out, man. My family is always grateful for that stuff, so we really appreciate it. The kids talked a little bit about you guys growing up, kind of teaching them a little bit of the dirt life stuff, but let's start with you, Jeff. You grew up in the motorsports stuff, right?
Yes, pretty much from day one. I grew up in Buckeye, Arizona.
ACP.
Yeah, that was not there.
Yeah.
Nothing was there. I grew up real close to Ed and Barbara Beard from Beard Super Seats.
Okay.
My mom actually worked there, so I kind of got into the off-road stuff. My dad had a Volkswagen repair shop and did a lot of Volkswagen stuff. Just kind of fell in love with the off-road thing and raced quads a little bit, raced a Honda Odyssey.
Ooh, nice. The first UTV.
Yeah, baby. Adjust your suspension by air pressure.
The bigger tires, the more cushion.
Absolutely. That's probably why my back's so jacked up. And then started in Class 9 riding with my dad. Then I got to drive, and I got to drive a car, somebody's 10 car at one point, and just kind of built up. And a friend of mine built a 1600 car, and I raced with him, and that's when I really this is what I like to do. And
yeah.
Really loved that class, and I knew Rick and Jeff Geiser from back in childhood, and once I got old enough, I started working for Rick, and that was about the time they got their shop, the first shop up on Lone Cactus, before they even thought about building a trophy truck.
Yep.
And it was just all buggies and stuff, and we did that.
Well, back then it was really all buggies.
Yeah, I mean, Geisers had no trucks in their shop. It was all buggies, and then they finally, I think it was the Vidoslas actually had them build their first trophy truck, and they built the 8 truck that was it should have been a trophy truck, but that started the whole thing. And
that's super cool. It's nice to hear the backstory on all that stuff, because I didn't grow up. I grew up racing dirt bikes, so when I hear all this new off-road stuff in my head and I hear the backstories on how things were invented and how things came to be, it's really, really interesting to me. I actually want to do a Dirt Life show, and maybe you could be a part of it too, is talking about the evolution of the off-road industry, because even before that, I mean, racing VW bugs around the, all kinds of crazy stuff. It's pretty neat. And for Eric, since to have somebody like that to talk to and hear those stories, got to be pretty cool, man.
Oh yeah, no, it's been a great adventure that we started 4 years ago.
Yeah.
We
try to get the mic a little closer.
Sorry, Bubba, one of our friends, got us into this. He goes, "Hey, come out and check."
Oh, one of your guys' friends to go check out one of the Lucas races?
Look at the races, and sorry, but we met Jeff, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I got a cart for sale," and I'm like, "All right." And you never know when a kid's going to get in it and do good or not too good.
Yeah.
And
you're kind of just shooting in the dark at that point, right?
Yeah, we didn't come from a racing background at all. It's sand dunes, and that was all it was.
Yeah. Well, growing up in the sand dunes, though, I mean, it's still a dirt life, right? It's completely different. I mean, there's always going to be, sand guys out there and stuff like that. But you have at least a little bit of a background, right? You understand off-road. You understand these motorsports. You see it from afar, right? Correct. So you kind of see what Jeff was living his whole life. You see that growing up, knowing, oh, there's these big cars that go through the desert this fast. So it really shows a lot when you talk to the kids. That's why I wanted to bring them on first, that you guys understood this stuff. And you guys...
Right.
Most parents, including your father probably, wouldn't put you in a position to learn something like this unless they know that it's going to be beneficial as a human being, right?
Correct. And see, what we did was when I got started in this, I got a 250R. Remember those back in the day, 1988? Well, then I met John Dyer from Wrestler's Edge, and that's how I got
That's who we actually bought our trailer from.
Oh, did you? Okay. So John Dyer's been helping me since I was about 17.
Wow.
And he still does today. He does a lot of our performance parts on our sand dune toys.
Cool.
We're with Jimmy Owens from Extreme Fabrication on our mod cart, but that's where I learned from. So he's taught me so much on racing and how to work on quads and Banshees.
Well, he's been around it for so long too.
So we did a lot with him, not for the mod cart, but for our sand cars, my wife's cars. The main reason my wife got into it, she fell in love with the sand dunes, and then she wouldn't get out of my sand rail. So I
Is that how
bought
she
her.
became your wife?
Yeah, and then she bought a Razor, and now she's in her like X3, but I get my sand car back.
Well, soon to be a trashed X3 from Ethan, man.
Ethan's, yeah, no, but we're going desert. We're gonna go desert with Jimmy here in the next year or so.
Wow,
So,
that'll be pretty cool, man.
yeah, so we're gonna do that program and go that direction.
That'll be pretty neat. And so we won't get too far into what you guys have planned, Jeff, but so when you grew up, and the reason I'm asking these specific questions is because the show is called The Dirt Life, and the reason I started it was because I grew up in the dirt, and I feel like I'm a somewhat well-rounded human being. I'm still an asshole, but I can still work on a car. I can work on a computer. I feel like I'm somewhat humble. I feel like I can relate to people, and all of that was taught to me by the dirt, by growing up, building my own bicycle jumps, by going up at the track, growing up, working hard, like those types of things. And you guys are teaching your sons the same thing. You learned that from your dad too?
Yeah, my dad and I grew up kind of on a farm, so I learned a lot of stuff. And
yes, you're working your ass off.
Yeah, and it's always, we didn't come from a really well-off family. If you wanted something, you had to fix something.
Yep.
And back in the day, especially out in Buckeye, there was no stores, so you couldn't just run to a store and buy something. You had to figure out how to make
gas,
it.
you're walking that bad boy.
Yeah, or your bike breaks. Like, how can I patch this tire? How do I do this? How do I do that? And same way with racing. I did the best I could with what I could. Went out scavenging parts through the junkyard, putting stuff together. How can I make the next race? Hopefully, I'll make it through the race. Stuff like that. It was how bad do I want it?
Yep, 100%.
And try to instill that into the kids, even though things are so much easier to get, and now you can get on your phone, go through Amazon Prime for
shows
most
up
part.
in 4 hours.
Right. But you still got to learn. I've even had kids that work for me that say they can't do something. Like, you got to figure out how to do this. AAA is not always there.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. If you can't start it, you can't ride it, kind of thing, right?
I mean, it sucks now. Vehicles these days, it's almost impossible to jerry rig and do stuff, but.
I agree.
It's crazy. Yeah, you know what's funny is my dad and I were actually talking about that the other day because the UTV program is simple compared to a lot of stuff that the bigger guys do, right? But him and I both had a completely different skill set. Like, he's been a mechanic his whole life, and now he manages a transmission shop, and he buys and sells cars and does all this stuff, right? So he's a really hands-on guy. And then I learned through my education about computers and stuff, and both of us being able to combine that into being able to work on some of these later model vehicles, whether it's a UTV or a car, has been super, super cool to see. Because sometimes he'll tell me, he'd be like, no, you don't have to worry about that, like, don't. And I'd be like, these new cars,
Absolutely.
You do have to worry about that. So it's kind of cool to see that and to know that you're on the forefront of it. Even along those same lines, like when you're at the track and you're working with people like Jeff, like you probably can put in a lot of your business acumen and the things that you've learned over the years with the companies that you operate to be able to put forward to that. Like
that, and then just honestly, just earning the respect of certain parents, and the kids respect the other kids. And Jeff and I have known each other for 5 years, and it's just a respect, and it's and our kids respect each other.
Hard work.
And it's but Jeff's helped me, I help him with parts, or if we need parts or this or that, we'll share it. You know, it's there's certain people that won't do that, and that's fine. That's their prerogative. But we believe in sharing to the good people out there that are racing and having fun with their kids, and and when you see a team that's just barely getting into the series, you want to help them out.
Yeah, 100%.
You need a chain, here's a chain, or you need a brake lever, here's a brake lever. You want to be able to help those people out. And the program we bought from Keats, we were able to have a lot of extra parts.
Right.
So if someone needs a part, we hand them a part, and all I ask, give me the same part back.
Yep.
Not that day, but in 2 or 3 weeks, months, whatever.
Yeah, or bring it to the next race, whatever it is.
Just honor the code of racing, basically.
Yeah. And there's so many that won't do that. It's just insane that, I've
was
literally
gonna say the
watched
same
parents that they'll sit there and see you struggling at the start line with something, and they'll just walk away.
Or they just move their car right up. I got another position.
Yeah. I mean, I've literally had, there's one sticks in mind where, in practice one day, there was a kid's car that wouldn't start, and I ran right over there, and me and another dad jumped on there, and we knew tricks of the trade, and we got it started and got him out there. Sure enough, we go up to qualify, and for whatever reason, Luke's cart wouldn't start, and I'm like by myself. I'm like, and it just
the mutual respect wasn't there.
Yeah, and it's at the time he was winning every race, so I'm sure all these parents are like, oh, look, Luke won't make it on the track, and you hate saying that, but that's it was kind of obvious when you see how they respect you when they take off.
Well, the truth hurts sometimes, and for those people it probably hurts more, but the good part about it is, well, first of all, I operated the same way. In fact, Yamaha gave us a bunch of extra parts to keep on the trailer to help support these guys because we asked them to do that. We thought it was a cool thing to do, right?
Definitely.
And so that stuff goes a long way, though. You don't have a Rob McCachran career of 40 years or whatever it's going to be, a long career, if you don't operate like that.
Absolutely.
If you operate on the fact that, oh, he's broken down, I get another position, you're going to be gone pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to be around.
Yeah.
No, and I've always said since day one, I mean, even when they bought the car from us when we first started, you're getting exactly, I prepped 8 cars at the time. Like, they were all equal. I never in my mind thought I was doing something different for them over somebody else. Because at the time, I wanted he needed competition. I don't want to win because I sabotaged everybody's stuff. I want him to win because none of us learn anything in life by just handing it to you.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You're teaching Luke the lifelong lesson of, well, competitiveness first is good, but you're teaching him that you can go out and treat people the same way that you want to be treated and just show them your real potential, and that's what wins.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And
the biggest thing is help out the fellow competitor.
Yep.
I mean, he might be in number 1, you might be number 5, but you just never know when his roles are going to reverse. So,
I really like the mindset that both of you guys have, because especially in the desert, the short course racing maybe not so much, but in the desert, man, you could use all the help you can get.
Absolutely.
I agree.
You need everybody to be friends out there.
100%, yeah.
And we're starting to learn that. We're working out with Connor McMullen, sorry. And so we're looking at working with him on the Class 10,
That's
program.
super cool.
And it's nothing yet because Mom won't let us. As she gives me the dirty eye again. But yeah, she's against it right now because she doesn't want to see her 14-year-old out there. But
I still think there's a lot of value in it, but I also think that maybe she's not too far off, because eating the elephant one bite at a time. Like having those lofty goals is good, but like Ethan said, like going out and winning a championship is the next goal, right?
Exactly. Right. And he has to move up in class. He has to earn his respect. He's done pretty well in his last 4 years. He's only been racing for 4 years right now, so he's done pretty good job. And he has to take his bangs and bruises, and he has to earn his respect.
When he had gotten chased by a bear.
Yeah, exactly. The bear. Yeah.
So, do you guys see, like, from afar, being the parents of the kids, that their racing acumen is pretty high? And I actually thought about this when I was doing my little intro video for the show today. I've only been racing off-road, or only raced off-road, for just over 4 years. Yeah. It was a very short amount of time. The kids have both been doing it for longer than I have, and that is pretty cool. But my question is along the lines of, do you see – well, here, let me preface this. So I'll make a long question. I get a lot of people asking me questions because they respect the things that I've done or what I show them or what they think I know. Do you see that happening to the kids too? Are the kids building up their acumen? Are they building up themselves as either racers or helpers or good people to be able to, give stuff back like that? I mean, basically being a good young man.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I think, absolutely to a degree. I mean, it's hard to say, but
I agree with that.
Unfortunately,
I mean, you spend every day with them, but you can also see the evolution.
Yeah, and the hard part about, like, as bad as I hate to say it half the time, for him to be a professional race car driver, to go outside of the off-road world, and no disrespect to off-road, it's what I do, but off-road racing it's not sponsor driven as much as it is pocketbooks.
And it's a very small niche market,
right?
Too.
Well, there's
but if he ever wants to go past that, you've got to almost have big bucks in your pocket to go NASCAR racing, to go whatever.
Right.
But the nice thing is with all of at least for Luke's part, is the sponsors he's gotten. I mean, Ultra Wheels has been with us for 4 years, and that was more of it started off as a small deal, and we've become such great friends that it's just grown and whatever. And, I was actually shocked he didn't say it earlier when he asked what other backup plan he has, because all of his sponsors between Rigid and Ultra and stuff like that have always said how great of an ambassador he is for the sport, and he could easily walk into any one of those places and he's got such a great relationship with them that they would teach him the product lines and kind of go with that part. So he could always still be involved with motorsports if that's what he truly wanted to do.
So that's kind of almost the exact answer I was looking for, is because you actually do see the evolution. You're seeing it on a day-by-day basis, but if you had somebody on the outside looking in, they would probably say stuff very similar to what Rigid or all these other people are saying is, wow, he's doing this, he's good at this.
Right.
And then they show that. And it's probably the same stuff for Ethan then too.
Yeah, Ethan, he's kind of shy. It's kind of funny because his mom and I are not shy at all.
He didn't seem shy on the show.
Oh, he's shy. He gets to the racetrack and doesn't talk too much, but he can open the doors when he wants to.
Really?
Yeah, and he has to go to college. It's a mandatory from his mom, Kelly, who's a teacher. Me too. He's learning Spanish, thank God, because that was one of my downfalls. I wish I would have learned Spanish.
Yep.
And so you
can order more tacos.
I wish she could.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, it's a family affair. I mean, just like Jeff. I mean, Jeff and Luke have a great relationship. I have a great relationship with my son. My wife and daughter come out all the time.
Yep.
My family he gets nervous when family comes out. But other than that, I mean, it's just about having fun.
It really is. And I can kind of read between the lines when you guys are seeing this. Like I said, you guys see it every day, but you really do. Like if you were to look back at the last 5 years of each of your son's lives, it's a pretty big drastic difference. I mean, not just in their height. I mean, in their
absolutely,
just everything. I mean, schoolwork, how the teachers treat them at school.
Yep.
Nice thing about my wife, what she does is Kelly puts out a schedule saying, "Hey, this is his schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Please give us." He has a unique hobby.
Yep.
So please treat him differently. Not differently, but just make sure you overextend what his homework is.
Right.
And make sure that he's getting all the work done.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And push him
because we used to do the same thing when I was traveling all over the country too.
Yeah. I mean, because we're not private. Our kids go to public schools.
Yep.
They're not private teached at all. And so it's a lot of work.
Yeah. I'm sure it is.
You lean on certain people. Like I lean on my wife and my daughter constantly to help him out, make sure he's getting his schoolwork done, making sure he's on top of everything, and then.
Well, you can definitely lean on Bella to kick his ass later.
Oh, she's I'm surprised she didn't do it already on your screen.
We had a comment come in that was like, I think when we were on commercial break, but it was Grace Elizabeth said, "Bella didn't tell me it's love, OMG."
It's not love.
So I don't know who that was or what that meant, but I'm sure Bella does. So.
Well, Isabella's about 5'11", and she has a handspring about her, and she knows how to smack him across his back. So it's kind of funny to watch once in a while.
Well, did you guys talk to the boys about what they do want to do in the future and let them allow themselves to set their own goals and kind of work their way up? Because you can't just say, I'm going to go drive a 6100 truck.
Exactly.
First of all, it's financially draining. And second, I mean, just the amount of team members that you have to have and help that you have to have, or just a garage member to work on the freaking truck.
Right.
Like, there's a lot that goes into that. So when they say stuff like that, what does it feel like to you? Maybe you can answer, Jeff, and then we'll ask Eric.
And I think he sees what goes on with me running this team and everything, that he knows there's more to it. And I've always asked him what he wants to do, and it's funny because like the last year or so he started talking about how he wants to go to the fab school or something like that. And
oh, cool.
And then it was funny because then Rick Geiser's like, yeah, just pay me, and he'd come out to Geiser's and work, and
or Dad could show him how to fab or whatever.
And that's what he needs. It's something like we were talking earlier. Like, I can only tell him so much.
Right.
The kids listen to their parents about as far as I can throw them, and that's what's good is that this industry, the people that he's met, he can go ask people like Geysers or the people at Rigid or the people at Ultra Wheels. Like, he's got a good enough relationship. They text all the time. I mean, he can talk to them and find out that stuff if he wants or
just
have ideas.
Is awesome to hear that because that goes a long way.
I mean, Luke legitimately, him and Jimmy Smith, the owner of Ultra Wheels, text each other.
That's cool.
I mean, there's not many sponsors that I know of that, some of these guys don't even know who kids are that are they're sponsoring, or they say, kids, people think they're sponsored or whatever, but that's what I always joke about. Like, you guys don't understand our relationship with this company. And
so they made a joke on a pod. We'll get to your answer too, but they made a joke on a podcast that I was listening to about motocross guys, right? And so, excuse me, back in the day, like when I was racing dirt bikes, and this goes a long way, the same things that you guys are doing now in the off-road, we would type out resumes, we would write it out, and we would send each one out. Like, you'd send out 50 or 100 resumes, and you might get one back that says you get 10% off because you're just a little kid, right? But you're going through the process and you're doing the work, and finally it works its way up after 5-10 years, whatever it is that your racing career is, and you start getting free things, and you start developing relationships and stuff like that. And now there's a huge disconnect, and the reason I'm getting at this is because Luke is doing it right. And they go to a website like sponsorhouse.com, and they put it out there, and every single company just all of a sudden waterfalls them 10% off.
Right.
So now they're a sponsored driver for 50 companies. They have 50 stickers on their car, and they're satisfied, right?
Absolutely.
That's not the way it works.
Absolutely.
It's not the way it works at all. It's the relationship,
Yep.
right? And so he's starting the relationship. You're teaching Ethan how to start the relationships. Ethan, you told me the other day that Ethan got some recognition for the iRacing stuff, and he was going to start pursuing that. Like, all of those lessons are so freaking valuable, and that's why I started this show, is because those are so meaningful to one child's life, all these children's life, and they will take that forever.
Right.
Well, it's definitely a different hobby or sport or anything that most kids are into. So I can say Ethan's probably one of 10 people in Tucson that actually race.
Yep.
Very small. It's a very small community in Tucson. Phoenix is a little bit bigger, but it's very odd.
Yeah.
And so they get a lot of attention because it's a unique sport.
Yep.
Well, and sometimes it's bad attention. I mean, Luke wouldn't wear a race shirt to school. Kids made fun of him and said that he wasn't a race car driver.
Yeah.
How
can you be a 12-year-old, 13-year-old?
Well, yeah,
Exactly.
we went to an outdoor ed thing, and all these kids ran up to me, and they're like, "Oh, Mr. Knupp, does Luke really race a car?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "Does it really go 60 miles an hour?" "Well, sometimes it goes 70." And even the dads were floored.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're looking at me. I'm like, "Serious?" And they're like, "No way." Like, RC cars? Like, no, it's a real car. And I show them the videos, and they're just, "I can't believe you let your kid do that."
Yeah. And it probably goes back to kind of what Eric is saying. It's so small that people just don't know. Like, it's just.
Well, no, I don't even think it's that. People, life has changed so much that people don't, their kids go home and play video games. Not that ours don't, but different kind of video games, or they don't want to be outside, where these kids will go outside and do stuff. And again, I can't tell you how many people tell me they can't believe I drive my kid across country back and forth and drive 30,000 miles a year, or to watch soccer and
to go around a mud course or something.
Like,
whatever
and their comment is, "I would never spend that much time with my kid." And I'm like, how do you say that?
Yeah.
I mean, I've sacrificed a ton to make sure I'm try to do as much as I can with both. Unfortunately, I have to spend more time with Luke because I got to do all this stuff, and I can't see a lot of my daughter's stuff. But it's just how the cookie crumbled on that part. But it's just amazing when a parent sits there and tells you that I would never do that, or they don't. They don't even know that there's such a thing because they don't leave their little bubble. They go to their cubicle, and they come home and sit in front of the TV and whatever.
The soccer field or the park is as far as they go. Yeah, those types of things. Well, and again, that's not that any of those people are doing it wrong.
Right.
That's the way that they're doing it. But
it's just different.
That's the exact reason why we started the show, is to go along that same concept, is because of all the things that it taught us. That's what we're into. That's the relationships that we've developed because of that. We'll get to your answer in just a sec. But Jeff Angel, what's up, man? Good evening to you as well. Casey Peck, the co-host, said, yep, that's the golden rule, and the kids will remember that stuff forever. And he's right. Like, it really is. When the kids learn all this stuff, whether it's just teaching them one thing, like a penny saved is a penny earned, that's a strong saying, right? But you're going to the races every weekend. Yeah. You're realizing every penny that you're spending. You're realizing every wrench that you have to turn. You're realizing every relationship that you shake hands. Like, it lasts forever, man.
Oh, yeah. And, like, Ethan has a team of about 3 guys that work on his mod cart this year.
Cool.
And that's just something that we've changed this year. But we're going for a championship. And that's what we were planning on. But this year, it just, with this whole virus, it's changed everything. But he's worked on that car more this year than he has ever.
Really?
Yeah, and it's kind of nice to see him doing his own changing tires, changing sprockets or brakes.
Is that self-driven motivation?
Yeah, it's not me. I had to take a step back on the team. I'm just a team owner, as they call me. I'm a professional mud scraper. That's what's on my T-shirt. So my wife made my shirt that says professional mud scraper.
That's cool.
And it's nice that, because I don't know, I'm not a mechanically inclined guy. Jeff's worked on cars all of his life. I never have.
Yeah.
Did towards rental houses. I know rental houses, but cars don't know cars. And what's really cool is Ethan's learned a lot, and he's learning more and more every day.
You guys got to be pretty proud parents to be able to see that stuff.
Oh, yeah, especially coming from a broke family. My family had no money. We were starting a company 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And we've been, grateful that we were able to help out a lot of charities and move in future and moving on technology.
Yep.
You mentioned it, technology with you.
Yeah, 100%. We can keep talking. The cool part about that is you're teaching the kids a lot of good stuff. Obviously, you guys have different occupations, but the one thing that I know about both of you guys is that you clearly give back. And when I say give back, like you were talking about, Jeff, the things that you do when you set up clutches for people, that you give every kid the same thing. You give every kid the same opportunity. And Eric does the same kinds of things. Like, I'm trying to start a business helping people with doing leg braces. And we've run into a bunch of different little hiccups and speed bumps that unfortunately have been hurting that thing of us helping people, right?
Right.
But anytime I would come at him with a question, he goes with the same mentality as you. Yeah, I want to help everybody too.
Right.
So those things go a long way when you show the kids those things.
Absolutely.
Right? So, and they see dad and mom doing those same things on a daily basis. It means a lot to see all that stuff happen, especially for me.
Right.
So
absolutely.
I think it's pretty cool, man. What are some of the things that you guys see on a daily basis with the boys that that you think is positive? Like, what's something that you've seen? Oh, that he learned that today. That's going to help in the racing program, or just different stuff like that.
Just pushing it, doing push-ups, sit-ups, mountain biking. Ethan and I got into mountain biking quite a bit, so it worked out really well that way. So we kind of held off a little bit just because of the heat and everything, but
yeah, it's hot as balls in Arizona right now.
Geez, it's horrible. So yeah, so we kind of hold off on that, and someone likes to play video games until about 3 a.m. So
hey, so all this
not
stuff.
gonna even lie about that one.
So all this stuff about video games, maybe you guys can give me a little bit, because you guys probably are the same as me, like never too hardcore in the video game stuff.
Nope.
But it's pretty intriguing. I don't know if
it's getting there. I mean, it's so impressive. Like, I watched the race again at Dover this weekend with NASCAR. I mean, it's fun.
Like, how gnarly does it get, though? Because I don't think you guys see the kids doing it. I think I need to get on that program to see what it's all about.
And I've done it. I've gotten on his thing and driven it, and it's like you watch him do it, like, oh, I can do that. And
what did you get to drive, though?
I've driven the Pro 4. I've also done
and that's what they do in the iRacing, Pro 4s?
Well, you can do Pro 4
or Pro 2.
NASCAR or IndyCar.
And then, there's every series is on there.
Yeah.
So NASCAR, IndyCar, Rally. So, like, I've done some NASCAR races.
That's pretty cool.
And it's insane how, you got to focus. The tires wear out. The cars wear out.
Yeah.
So it's somewhat realistic then?
It's very realistic. Like, anybody that says it's I've played Xbox and all that stuff where you can just do whatever and it's no big deal. This, you don't hit your marks, you're going to the back, and you crash your car, you're out. So
if you turn your steering wheel a little too much, you're in the wall.
Yeah.
We ran Daytona and I didn't last more than 2 laps. So.
Do they have any like Baja 500?
No,
not yet.
No.
How cool would it be to do a desert race without having a pit crew?
Yeah, but they
awesome.
because this is so realistic, it's all scanned in and everything, so it'd be impossible to.
Yeah,
I guess it wouldn't be impossible, but I forgot what Luke said it would cost. It's costing them to do Crandon, and it's like, how do they make their money off of this to even make that happen? But,
yeah, well, I guess it's kind of like those Google trucks that drive around with
exactly
Google Earth and all that crap on it, right? Where do you think the iRacing is going to go? You think it's going to help the boys?
I think so. I mean, there's guys that are making livings doing this.
Really?
Yeah. Mitchell DeYoung, I forgot what he makes, and all he does is
doing the iRacing video game stuff.
And he does everything. He drives for teams. He does this. He does that. I think it's William Byron who drives for Jeff Gordon now in NASCAR. That was his big thing. He was an iRacing champion, had very little.
Turned it into a legitimate career?
Yeah.
Real racing career?
Yeah.
Making money.
Making money. And he was
No
making money,
way.
and he made it into this. This is big, and I think it, unfortunately, unless they figure out a way to get back to real life,
Yeah.
I mean, if at some point that's going to be the thing, because if you can't have fans in the stands, but you can have them on the TV watching or the internet.
That's actually a good question, though. Is how many, do they get a good crowd watching them?
Yeah.
Well, the kids, every one of the kids' races that they've done, they've had more viewers watching off of YouTube than they've probably ever had at a Lucas Oil race.
Right.
Yeah,
As sad as it sounds, I mean, I hate saying that, but
We kind of talked about this a little bit in the last couple of weeks here. Is you can go out and you can record a vlog or whatever, and we do it for the Dirt Life, and we don't get hardly any views, right? But if they're getting, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000, 15 million views on their iRacing, that's got to be pretty special.
Right.
well, Luke got in. So he won the Lucas Oil race on Friday.
Yeah.
And Saturday gets a text from one of the Lucas Oil guys, and they had Speed Freaks, the radio show, call him and did a 10-minute interview. It was on the Speed Freaks radio.
And that's all from iRacing, huh?
Yeah.
Wow,
I mean,
that is so cool.
He's won 4 championships. He's won 2 Challenge Cups. He's won a UT World Championship, and we've never got any exposure like he
Dude,
has
so
on a video game.
basically, I was calling us old farts. He's the old fart for the iRacing.
Yeah, no,
He's been
absolutely.
doing it for so freaking long.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I do actually think it's pretty cool, and I'm excited to go check it out and see what it's all about. I think it'll be pretty cool to get into that stuff. So what's the plan then? Like when all this Corona crap starts dwindling off, like everybody get back to like racing and working as usual?
I hope so.
so.
That's how I make a living.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping that everything's going to go back to somewhat normal. We're not sure what's going to happen.
What have you guys been doing to occupy your time? I know you're still working pretty hard.
Yeah,
but-
I'm working pretty hard. But testing, we've been going to Glen Helen quite a bit.
Okay.
And then we're trying to get into Utah right now because Utah just opened up. So we're just, testing the car and changing some things.
Have you been doing any stuff like that, Jeff, or
Not
no?
testing. Unfortunately, it's been out of our budget. But, I mean, our 6100 team, it's actually been a good thing. We bought the truck right before Laughlin last year, so last October, and all we've done is pretty much raced it and did some upgrades and raced it. And this has been a time for me that I've actually gone through the team, the truck, and I'm making some changes that I wanted to do, really fine-tuning it. We just bought another chase truck, so getting that dialed in.
Really hit the ground running when it comes back.
So we've been like on the edge, like we've been good enough, to make it happen, but at least now I've got the time to really focus on the team and get stuff in order. So when we go to the next race, we don't look like a bunch of rookies.
The number one thing in racing is always like, how do you get more time? Like I never had enough time. I didn't have enough time. I didn't have enough time. So now you got a little bit of extra time.
Well, in desert, we really don't have an off season.
Right.
I mean, we raced the second weekend of December was our last race last year, and then the last weekend of January was our first race this season. So it didn't, and you got Christmas in there, New Year's in there, so you don't have a whole lot of time to do a lot.
Right.
So this, like I said, it's been a little bit of a blessing, but I know my boss is chomping at the bit and wants to go racing, and I want to go racing, and it'd be nice to get back to my normal life. And the hardest part for me is like I look at my calendar and all it says is canceled, and
Oh yeah,
you don't have anything to look forward to right now. So
that is terrible. I can't wait to get back to the races either.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel Gomez said 40K last year, so that must have been what he made as an iRacer. That is pretty unreal.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, just think about how much like most people have to work for 40K. You know what I mean? Go digging ditches or whatever. So
yeah. He walks into his room and plays video games for the day.
Exactly. It's
pretty
One big
badass.
thing is Ethan, like you said it earlier, he loves the sand dunes.
Yeah.
It's his relaxed place. I've been going out there for 25 years, and he just loves the fact that he doesn't have to listen to anybody, and he can go and do what he wants and ride his heart out and, just have fun.
Here's a good question that just came in, and this will be, you guys will both answer this differently. Tamara Hansen asked, what advice do you guys give to a mom trying to get her son a racing opportunity? And I know Tamara, she's actually, her son has some physical disabilities and things like that, but he's really he's self-motivated. He's driven to get past these things, and they got him a razor. They're trying to get him on the track, and she's doing a really good job already at getting him to do these things, but it sounds like she wants to take the next step.
That's awesome.
So what advice do you give a mom doing that?
Stay home. No.
Stay home. Yeah, pretty much don't get into racing.
Hey, so that's the first thing I told her, actually. But
No offense, Tamara, but I understand it. But yeah,
but she's doing it, man.
That's awesome. And
That's
great.
great.
It's just a matter you got to find what works. I mean, for anybody. I mean, it's a tough deal, and especially if you don't know how to do it, you got to get in with the right people. And
I was going to say that. Yeah, if you don't mind me interrupting. First things first, surround yourself by good people.
Exactly.
Because in any business, in any life, there's always the crooks out there just looking how they can make the money. So, that's always the hard part. And I think none of us really know who to trust half the time. And you just you got to look. Even when I got into it, I knew nothing about trophy carts. I was a buggy guy, and I did some truck stuff. And my daughter, I traded a car somehow, some way, and I got a car for my daughter, and we'll just go have fun with it. And then she wanted to race, and then you go out there and you're like, I'm never going to spend that money on this. I'm never going to spend that money on that. Well, then you're like, I got to do it.
Yep.
And luckily, I had some friends that I grew up with that their kids were in it, so I kind of leaned on them. And again, it goes back to they don't want to give out secrets, but then they finally kind of like, all right. And, unfortunately for Lauren, she was a lot of learning process. So when Luke started, it was a lot easier for him. But the kid's been a natural from driving a car from day one. It's people always say he gets it from you get it from me. I mean, I thought I did decent as a driver, but he definitely has a knack for driving that I don't think I ever had. But it's been cool to watch him and grow up, and like he said the story about he used to tell Lauren different things, and I just sit there and shake my head, and I'm like, you need to listen to him. I know he's your brother, but he's spot on.
He's got to relate that to what the question that Tamara asked. I think you really can learn a lot from just people, Tamara. You can surround yourself by good people, but listen. Just be a good listener. Go out there and have an open mind. Don't plan on winning all the races. Plan on finishing most of the races. Plan on doing better the next race, those types of things.
Well,
John Lewis says, I want to go racing.
Yeah, but our big thing last year was consistency.
There you go.
Just stay consistent, because we knew you had Mason Prater that was dominating the whole entire series, and it was like, all right, to go out there, try to beat them, but don't put yourself into a spot to where you're going to get your car destroyed or not finish the race. And so we went out there, and our biggest goal was Rookie of the Year, because that was Ethan's Rookie of the Year. He got it, but it was more of just, I mean, if you've ever watched a mud cart race, it's
knock down, drag out.
Yeah, they go at it.
Good.
I mean, they're kids and they go at it. And there's some great competitors out there, and you just sometimes it's fit us. You just get lucky.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say. I mean, racing is lucky.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. There's a lot of luck involved in it. And one of the things that we used to be told when we were racing dirt bikes is there's always going to be somebody better than you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so even if you're Lewis Hamilton, and you go to a certain track, there's going to be a dude that's faster than you.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you're at your best track, but that's going to be few and far between.
Exactly.
So when you think about it like that, having legitimate goals, like you're saying, being consistent, being able to satisfy those goals and reach those goals, makes it so that you want to continue racing.
Right.
Makes it so that you, I don't agree in this statement, but never give up. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
So,
and our thing has always been since day one with both my kids, no matter what, let's go have fun.
Yeah.
This is a hobby.
Yep.
I mean, even now, even though he still gets money from sponsors and everything else, this is still a hobby.
He can go away and flip
absolutely.
the switch.
Look at what's happening this year. And that's why, when he gets out of his car and he's mad and upset, and I get it, and I'm glad, because that shows his competitive nature, but that's something to tell her is I never set their hopes high. Like, hey, we're just going to go have a good time. You get on the podium, it's a bonus. You win, it's a bigger bonus. If you get last, okay, it sucks, but did you have fun?
Yep, 100%.
Exactly.
When you're a NASCAR driver, then you can change your outlook on stuff. But even our desert program, I mean, it's no different with Travis. It's we're there to have fun, and let's see what happens from there. Because it's same deal. It's a hobby, expensive hobby for him, but
But it goes back to the reason we started the show. It's because it's the dirt life. It teaches them a lot. John Lewis also replied back saying to Tamara, make it about the fun. Have an open mind to learn, which is something that I know you're already teaching Michael. Various techniques and setups, but always keep it about the fun. So I definitely agree with that.
That John guy just thinks he's such a smart guy, doesn't he?
Sounds like he's your guy's buddy.
Yeah.
John?
Yeah.
But I agree with what they're saying, Tamara. I think you could definitely learn a lot by hanging out with good people, first of all, and then listening to their advice. And just make it fun for him. Like, he's going to have a good time no matter what. He'll be competitive. Make sure he never throws his helmet. Make sure he never gets upset. But
I agree with that.
But definitely keep it about the fun, because that's what it is. If for some reason he can't do it anymore, or you guys can't do it anymore, you guys had a good time.
Yep.
And that's the way that I
Memories.
unfortunately didn't look at it very many times, but I look at it from that point of view now because it's hard to understand.
Well, it also
Absolutely.
changes your lifestyle because you have to make special, strides to go and make sure you go race.
Yeah.
Entry fees, making sure the car's prepped, making sure you have the right parts, making sure that everything is good to go.
What do you think what do you think would be the answer if we asked the ladies, the wives, that same question?
She'd ask me why we're not going on vacations anymore.
Yeah. But if they were asking the same question about like Tamara did, like how do you make it so that the mom can take them? What if you guys
we
were?
have moms that we help out all the time.
Yeah.
And it's you just help them.
Yeah.
It's not even because they're motivated. Their son's motivated, or daughter, and they're just we do 3. There's 2 of them right now that we help out.
That's
as much
super
as
cool.
we possibly can.
Well, Tamara, I think the next step for you guys is to, when racing starts again, or even practice days, like these guys go out to Glen Helen and stuff like that, maybe you could, reach out to them online or through me, and you could maybe tag along and see if Michael would have a good time out there, see if he's even does want to go racing.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, Chad's trying to get me to go to Class 10. Yeah, I don't want to buy Connor McMillan's car yet, buddy.
sounds like Chad wants to get you to go racing in the desert, huh?
Yeah, he wants to go to the 61, so no.
I think it's good that the kids have those goals, and I think that it's awesome that you guys are willing to support them. Better than that, though, I like how you guys have them grounded. Like, they're not just out there off the wall, kids bouncing all over the place. You can see that they're very structured. They're very well spoken. They're really, really living the dirt life that we talk about on the show the whole time. So I would love to have them on in the next few years and see what
they have to grow up. This sport is not for immature kid, because you're not going to last.
That's a very true statement.
You have to grow up a little faster. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing in the world, but they have to grow up to mature to what they're going to strive in life.
Like speedy lessons learned.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
So, I mean, our kids are 13 and 14. They actually act like they're 16 and 17.
Yeah.
But there's other
very
times
respectful
But there's other times too that they act their age or even younger. I see him sometimes, like a little embarrassing story, which he doesn't. He probably wouldn't embarrass him, but when
He's not going to watch this show.
Yeah, 3 or 4. When he was like 3 or 4, we had a dirt area behind the house, and he had every Lucas track built in the dirt, and he would go back and forth, and it used to be so funny. And this is where, like, I have pictures and video of it saved just in case something ever happens down the road. But he'd be sitting there, and I just always remember you hear names getting thrown out, Rob McCackron this or that, and then all of a sudden my shop's 100 yards away. All of a sudden you just hear the top of his voice, and Luke Knupp takes the lead.
Yeah.
Like if nothing else, the kid could be an announcer. But
that's cool.
But it's cool to see how he's progressed and see where he goes, and it's good to see.
You guys think the kids are dreaming about this stuff at night? Because that's the way I was when I was.
Oh, absolutely.
I put my dirt bike in the bedroom, man. Sleep with that son of a gun.
So RJ is Anderson is Ethan's #1 driver.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. Is at his last race when he won the championship, he gave him the door.
Oh,
of
really?
His truck, and that's his. And my wife is super creative and made it the headboard of his bed.
No way.
Yeah. So if you
Did
look,
you take pictures of that?
Yeah, we can.
Dude, take some pictures of that, and I'll post and tag RJ on the Dirt Life.
It's so cool. So
maybe that'll be the way I can get RJ on the show.
But that's just something that he strives to go up and keep going where he's going to go.
Dude, you always got to look up to it like that, man.
Yeah.
Like I remember thinking, like on how many pictures I could have of Jeremy McGrath in my room kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
Yeah, no.
that's so much motivation.
Yep.
Does Luke do that kind of stuff too? Obviously, he's thinking about Rob McCackern and beating him.
Yeah. And yeah, he's got some stuff. The funny part is, I mean, Rob and I used to race against each other, so I've known
Right.
Rob forever. So it's always kind of funny when.
Well, yeah, but your dad though.
Yeah, but it's kind of. So that's when the first time that Luke met JC from Ultra Wheels, they went on a little tour and they stopped at Rob's picks at the time he was on Ultra Wheels, and they stopped to talk to him. And Luke gets out, hey, and JC's like, you know him? Oh yeah, I've known him forever. He used to race against my dad,
so
and it's
cool.
it's funny, you know. I think sometimes it's hard. Like I can understand like them; they've only been in the sport for 4 years. I don't know that Luke has a lot of role models in the sport because he feels like they're family or friends.
Right.
It's, you know, and that's how I even feel. Like I grew up with Larry Ragland as a friend.
Right.
So I had friends that just like, oh my God, it's Larry Ragland, and I'm like, yeah, you want to go to his house?
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that because
I've always been the same way though, like the Eberts, because like I didn't do this off-road stuff. So
Right.
every time I saw one of those guys, they were the baddest dude on the planet.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, you know what I mean? Like even RJ Anderson, he's younger than I am, but I look up to that guy. Like I'm like, man,
Yeah.
he has been like he's such a veteran. Like he knows all the stuff. Like so for me, it's cool to see that. That's like the new Jeremy McGrath for me. You know what I mean? So seeing all that stuff is badass.
And I think he still looks at him as a role model, but it's just so much more of a friendship part because he knows, you know, you almost look at some of these people that, to me anyways, like when I grew up, I always remember like Mario Andretti was my role model.
Yep.
When I first met him, I was like, I couldn't talk.
Yep.
And I see him where he just walks in and starts high-fiving these guys like it's nothing. And
That's pretty
it's
cool,
just the whole different thing, you know, because he knows them. So it's just that different perception that we have because we grew up with all these people.
It's pretty cool though. Like you got to admit it's pretty cool. And for Luke, even though he may think it's like family, like he'll look back on it one of these days and be like, you know, really appreciative of the things that he's grown up doing. So I think it's pretty cool. Well, yeah. So like to answer my question, then, what was it that you think is going to happen? Like right when racing starts, like what's the plan for you guys? Just jump right back into the series?
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Well,
So
Luke's car's ready. It's prepped, ready to go. And like I said, it looks like June could be a crazy month because we'll have hopefully the first weekend of June is the first Lucas race.
Yep.
I think the second weekend of the month is possibly going to be Best of Desert race. I think I'll have the third weekend off unless we go to Utah for the regional. The fourth weekend's the Lucas race in Utah.
Yep. It's a national.
And you really think it could happen that quick then?
I hope
Yeah,
so.
I hope
We need
so.
to. I mean, sponsor-wise, morale-wise.
Yeah.
And there might not be fans in the stands, but I don't see why we can't go racing.
Yeah.
I can't either.
Well, and we all gotta remember, racing is because we like doing it, right?
Exactly.
Well, except for me.
Well,
It's my job.
but you can still fix cars. You don't need fans in the stands to fix
Right.
cars.
No.
So what I mean by that is you can go racing in your backyard if you have enough people to race.
Right. Exactly.
So I think it'd be cool to see all that stuff happening. I really do like the idea that you guys are going to Crandon. I think that's a fantastic thing. I want the Dirt Life to go to Crandon, so I might hitch a ride with you or something.
Jump on board, man.
But,
we pass by your house.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, I'll just have somebody drop me off on the freeway, okay?
Hey, the tickets are really cheap right now.
Yeah, that's true, right?
Yep.
Just buy all my plane flights right now.
Yeah.
Huh?
Do you want to do the 30-hour drive with me, or do you want 4-hour flight?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I do enjoy, and I wanted to go on a road trip, and I do want to go east actually. So
Well, I'm doing Vegas to Reno,
okay.
coming home. I'll be home for 2 days, and I'm leaving for Missouri, and I'm driving
You got
Troy Cox's. I'm driving Troy Cox's Pro 2 rig out for him with Cole Mamer, and we're putting all Luke's stuff in there. Staying in
cool.
Missouri, then I'm helping prep everything. We're going to Crandon, then coming home, so you can do a 3.5 road.
Dude, that would be a Dirt Life trip for the books right there, man.
There you go, man.
You'll get to see a little bit of everything.
We'll definitely talk about it because I'm not scared to do that. I think that stuff is fun. I really like it. So, and I miss being on the road for the racing and stuff like that. I think it's cool, and I think my body's in a good enough position now that I could start doing some of that stuff. All right, we're gonna do a rapid fire with the boys. But since the boys aren't old enough to drink, I'll ask one of the questions to you guys: Corona or Pacifico?
Corona or Dos Equis.
So
Don't
you're
drink.
going Dos Equis? You're going Dos Equis?
I don't want the coronavirus.
Yeah, that's the reason I asked the question.
I don't drink anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, so a quick funny thing about that, or not funny. So I was at the Mint 400 the week before everything went to crap.
Yeah.
And I walked in when we were getting our rooms. I go over to the bar to get a beer for me and my boss. And I'm like, oh, I need a Bud Light and a Corona. And the guy's like, you're going to get the virus. I'm like, you're an idiot.
Pretty much.
That's what we did. We literally bought Corona, not to drink them, but just to take them on the trip with us this weekend. Yep. That was the only reason.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
We were good to go.
I agree with you 100% on that.
All right, well, we're going to go to a short commercial break, our second commercial break of the night, and our second commercial break ever.
Whoa.
And then we'll be right back with the boys in the rapid fire Q&A. We'll see you guys in just a second.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target, and we are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Yeah, finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I've been trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch. You can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans like, let's say, a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up.
You can patch it up. It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah, also as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel, and then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything, so that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
it's like a first aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, chase trucks have it as well, so that if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more.
all manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period.
All right, we're back. That was awesome. Second commercial break. It's never the only first time I've ever done that, so I'm pretty stoked. All right, you guys ready for the rapid fire Q&A?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's rock, paper, scissors for who goes first.
All right.
Ready? All right, you go first.
All right.
So, Ethan, iRacing or real racing?
Ooh, probably real racing.
You're going real racing? How about you, Luke?
Real racing.
Real racing too? I don't know. You guys have been doing pretty good at the iRacing. And for me, right now, at this point in my life, I would normally choose real racing, but I'm kind of stoked on the iRacing thing. So I'll go iRacing at your house one of these days. All right, second question. Barsha or Webb?
Webb.
You're going Webb?
Yeah.
All right, I'll ask you a different one. Roxon or Tomac?
Roxon.
You're going Roxon? Me too. I like his gumption. He's just a badass dude.
And he's German. I like.
Oh, you like Germans?
I'm part German.
Oh, right on. Okay, third question. Favorite food?
Pineapple.
Pineapple?
Yeah, it's really good.
That was crazy. What's
Yeah?
your sister's favorite food?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I don't know her that well.
I'll
but-
answer for her because I think everybody should always be tacos.
Yeah.
So
For
we'll
sure.
go with tacos. All right, Luke, what's your favorite food?
Tacos.
You're going tacos?
Yeah.
What is your sister's favorite food? Do you know? Is she more like a pizza girl?
No, I think it's probably tacos.
Dude, see? I just became best friends with your whole family. Okay, cool. Little Smokies or pizza rolls?
Pizza rolls.
You're going pizza rolls? All right.
Pizza
That's what you're
rolls,
going,
yeah.
pizza rolls too? You guys never had Little Smokies, though? They're pretty good.
I don't think I've ever had them.
All right. Favorite soda?
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I agree. But I go
Hands
Diet
down.
Dr. Pepper. But yeah,
Okay.
pretty much hands down. What about favorite energy drink?
I don't really drink energy drinks too much.
I don't either, but this weekend I drank 2 energy drinks. I drank a Bang Cotton Candy, and then I had no choice. I had to get the Rainbow Unicorn and put it on the unicorn and get a picture of it. So, do you like energy drinks or no?
Yeah, I've tried getting out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you have a problem? Were you addicted
Not
for
a
while?
problem, but like.
We got to go back to AA for energy drinks. Energy Drinks Anonymous. All right. This one's for the girls, but Uggs or Crocs?
Uggs.
You're going Uggs?
Yeah.
Crocs.
Yeah, Crocs.
4-wheel drive.
Dude, I saw that video the other day. I love that video. But I totally got squished on it because like every dude at the Cinders this weekend had Crocs. Like it was I was like the odd man out so
Our
hard.
good buddy Dalton Turpin. He wore Crocs, and we call him Dalton Turbo.
Yep, Dalton Turbo.
Because all he has to do is just put them in
Yeah,
like lock-in
just-
differentials
Yeah.
and bail out.
Oh yeah.
All right. I think we might have answered a little bit of this, but your most memorable race?
Crandon for sure, the 49th year, because we were just hanging back, and it was like one of my first races, and just to pull off a podium is crazy for like one of the first races. So
That's cool, and you got on the podium too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
When your teammates
So,
took each other out.
Yeah.
Jeff, Luke's dad, just said it should be when Luke's favorite should be when you gave him the podium. So does that mean that you didn't finish that race?
No, I got 10th.
Oh man,
I led the first half.
did you learn anything from that 10th place though?
Yeah.
Like, so Jeff said, "Stay away from girls." All right, what's your most memorable race?
My first mod kart win. It was at
First mod kart win?
Glen Helen. It was a regional, but me and Ricky Gutierrez were battling out, and I made a last lap pass on him and took it.
John Lewis says K-Rock. He likes Ken Roxon too. So
I like that.
The reason that I asked that memorable race thing is because I always want to see like if anybody had a memorable race that wasn't a win. Because for me, like we talked about it a couple times on this show, like I raced dirt bikes at the time, and I was racing in the 80 intermediate class or something like that. So we weren't like super fast kids, but we were like pretty good, right? And I was at Glen Helen racing, and I crashed in the first turn. I got taken out in the first turn, and I basically like I couldn't get my bike started. I was like. It was like one of those off-road races where you're never going to catch up, right? And then all of a sudden you start like seeing like the light at the end of the tunnel on the last lap. And on the last lap, at the checkered flag, like not even 3 feet from the checkered flag, I was like tire and tire with the winner. Like I almost made it to the lead to win that race. Like I'll never forget that race. Like I've raced supercrosses and stuff like that, and I still don't even remember them compared to that race. So memorable races will be something that you guys will have in the future too. You guys will definitely remember those things.
Yep.
All right, simpler question. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Cookie dough.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Cotton candy.
Cotton candy? Nice, dude. Hook it up. That bang cotton candy was pretty good, so I'm right there with you. Ski or snowboard?
Ski.
Ski?
Snowboard.
Yeah, I'm with snowboard too.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Next one, dogs or cats?
Dogs, for sure.
Yeah, we're all dog guys here. My sister's a cat person, though. She's got some pretty cute cats, too. So, and they act like human beings. Like, they sit down like human beings and stuff, too. It's like so. And they got these, like, really furry faces. They're Persian cats. I don't know if you guys ever seen those.
I think I have once or twice. But
Yeah. So, those are pretty funny. Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
YouTube.
Yeah, I'm going YouTube, too. But not just because I like YouTube that much, because I think it's a good marketing tool for racers like us. So, burrito or taco?
Taco.
Taco. Even though you eat burritos like every night.
Do you?
Yeah. I like burritos and I like my tacos once in a while.
All right, what's your favorite burrito? Because we had Josh Shorter from Thor MX come on, and he has a specific burrito that he likes.
I just order from Chipotle, you know. Just got some chicken, steak, and rice.
Have you ever had a California burrito?
Yes.
It's a carne asada burrito with French fries or potatoes on it.
Oh, I haven't.
That's
Dude,
really good.
slammed with guacamole, the whole deal. It's pretty delicious, man. Here's a good one. Actually, I'm going to do 2 questions for you guys. First one is Supercross or motocross?
Supercross.
Yeah.
You're going Supercross too? Because and then this one is going to be crazy too because it'll be kind of like that same thing. Short course or desert?
Ooh.
Short course.
Yeah, for right now, short course because I haven't really gotten into the desert.
So that kind of matches up because I was thinking motocross would be more like desert, like more like outdoor, manly kind of crap.
Longer
So,
motos. Yeah.
all right, this is a really good one. And you can answer any form of racing. It could be like monster trucks, anything. What other form of racing would you like to try? F1, airplane racing.
F1 for sure.
Yeah, F1 is.
You guys are both going F1.
Oh yeah.
How do you think you would do in such precise driving like that?
I don't know. I have the game.
Because you
on
can't
my-
even make like if you peel out, you're screwed. Like, and you guys are used to peeling out.
I think I would be decent. I mean, like, cause I've drove go-karts and stuff, and they're kind of the same. But like Formula 1, you have to be so much more like precise with your steering. Like, if you make the slightest little thing, you're off by the 10th of your fastest lap.
Dude,
so.
maybe start hitting that iRacing Formula 1 up, dude.
I actually have the game on my Xbox. And I like hitting walls.
Oh, so you need a little bit of practice. Jane Owen said Rocky Road, so she's getting some good ice cream too. All right, and the last question of the night: chips and guacamole or French fries and ketchup?
Chips and
guac.
Dude,
sure.
right there with you guys. Yeah, we did become best friends.
Yeah.
Good show, boys. Thank you guys very much, and thank you for your dad and your family for coming down. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your mom and your sister letting you come all the way to Tucson to have a good time with us. We really appreciate you guys, and I honestly can't wait to get this racing started again and see you guys at the track, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome to see you turn around your season, and it's going to be awesome to see the next steps you make in your career too. So I'm pretty pumped. So thanks, boys. You guys got anything else to say before we sign off?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well,
Great
we'll see
show.
you. Yeah, thanks, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it.
you
You guys
guys.
made it awesome. So I'll see you guys iRacing very soon.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We really appreciate it. Next week's show will be episode 38. Who even knew it would make it this far? And we're going to talk to a young woman. Her name is Brooke Jensen of Brooke Jensen Racing. She's doing some pretty awesome stuff. She got over her Lyme disease, and she still deals with it all the time. So it's really cool to see her story of overcoming and still doing the racing stuff, being so motivated. man, these kids are just awesome to hear all this great stuff. It just gives us motivation to be better people in the future, learning from their parents and their families. We really, really appreciate everybody. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you very much to Shock Therapy. Thank you to Zollinger Racing Products. Thank you to Rugged Radios. Thank you to KMC Wheels. And thank you to the guys at Solderweld who supply that awesome off-road kit. You can use the code DIRTLIFE on all of their websites to get a fantastic discount. And you can always call them and say that Georgie or the Dirt Life sent you guys to get a fantastic discount too. So thank you guys very, very much for joining us. I'm going to go eat some more tacos, hang out with the families. We will see you guys. Love you. Good night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show.